Tom Vassel's top 100 games of all time. DRC, voice of the people.
Alrighty, hey!
Welcome back to Dice Tower in the Round.
Top 10 games of all time.
I'm excited. I also would like to apologize to 3D enthusiasts out there for getting your hopes up and then dashing them.
So what happened? This is the second attempt at doing this. I had flipped the switch on 360 video before we started to stream earlier, just seeing if it worked or anything. And I said, okay, whatever. And I turned it back off. But apparently, it did not turn off for whatever reason. It's off on the screen. Anyhow, welcome back to our top 100 games of all times. Yeah! Woo! That was a lot cooler when I was showing up the first
5
time.
hours.
5 hours.
5 hours.
I'm sorry, guys.
Is how long that's going to be.
Alrighty.
I did take that opportunity to make some last-minute changes to my top 10, though.
Oh, snap.
Should we reintroduce ourselves?
Yes, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm still here. I'm Z Garcia. Hi, everybody. Let's get it right this time, guys.
Yeah, so if someone could actually go post a link in the other video and let those people know to come over here. Alrighty. Anywho, I made
What do you
guesses.
got there?
I made some guesses at these guys' top 10s, and I know Z's probably.
Let me guess, okay? You might get like 8 of mine. Maybe 7 of Roy's.
Oh,
And if you get 1 of Mike DeLisio's, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
How are you reading my mind? All right, and blah, 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 Roy, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so.
Blah, 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 Roy.
I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a very dismissive of Roy, the youngest of the pups. The fuelest of the G's.
Oh, snap.
Alrighty, well, I think I'm just we're little.
Are we 2D?
You got to put on your glasses to see this in 3D.
Oh, yeah. We're not nearly as bold
Oh,
as
if I
that.
had a pair of
That
those,
was so good.
and we came back for this stream, I totally would have had them on and be like, freaked you out, didn't we?
Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us. Let's get started here with number 10 of all time.
Bow, bow, bow.
Number 10.
All right, my number 10 of all time it's been on the list for 4 years. 3 years ago it was number 21, then in 12. Last year it was number 1.
Oh,
So it's dropped a bit. Still in the top 10, and that's Project Elite.
wow.
Okay, it's 9 spaces away. Some of yours jumped 20 spaces.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do, because it's already been documented.
Oh,
and things
all
we already
right,
done.
fine then.
Can't argue with stats.
This
your
was
number
your
year last
number
year?
1 last year.
Sure, and I was really jazzed about it. Here's the deal.
Now it's suddenly garbage. What happened?
I'm still waiting on a playable copy, really.
Oh.
Yes.
Still waiting for Command to deliver it, so who knows where we'll be next year. I really like the game.
Yes.
And I took the bits and pieces I had of the Draw Lab game and the Cool Mini or Not prototype, put them together, everything. I had my conventions, and then every time someone offers to play it, I'm like, oh, I love playing the game, I love it. But I'll wait for the Command version to come out, and then it hasn't come out yet. And that's the only reason, really, that it's dropped down a little bit. Also, more so, the other games moved up.
Okay.
But it's still one I really enjoy, and I don't think 10's anything to scoff at. Not on this kind of list, anyway. The scoffing is probably
I don't know if it's
occurring.
elite anymore, right? It's Project pretty good at this point. Yeah.
Oh, then your 10's garbage, too. Say your 10.
No, we're not there yet.
My number 10 is... Yeah, we are there.
Oh, we are there. Okay.
My number 10 is Project Elite. Be prepared for a garbage... Oh, let's see if I got it.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll be surprised because I believe my number 10 was on your list, not, this high up into the stratosphere. It doesn't soar as high as my number 10 does.
Mm-hmm. Wingspan?
Wingspan! Yeah.
The Stonemeyer fanboyness
wow.
Look,
begins.
hey, baby, bring it on. Look,
Wow, okay.
this game, I think, is not only is it a hyped game, which it certainly is, and not only is it a game that hyped.
Oh, hype.
That's been talked about a lot in the last year or so. I
Yeah.
truly and honestly believe that Wingspan is going to be a game that's going to be around in 15 years. I don't think this game is going anywhere. I think this is going to be an evergreen game. It has
Unless somebody
plenty.
burns it,
Well,
yes, it's still going to be around.
well, you know what I'm. No, I mean it's
Takes
still going to
water
be.
damage.
It's still going to be in the zeitgeist. It's still going to be
Tornado.
talked about. It's still going to be played. It's still going to be in print. And I think that there are going to be obviously.
That is a very...
I said it. Mark it down.
How many games from 15 years ago now are in print?
Well, I think that would be an interesting thing to find out.
Sorry. Monopoly.
Catan.
Caden. Yeah.
Could it be
I think
Caton?
this is. I think this is going to be still in print in 15 years.
It'll be printed by Hasbro by
Correct.
then.
Yes, correct. It'll be Wingspan sliders. But no, this is a really, really great tableau
I think what
building
you're looking
game.
for is garish.
It's not garish. It's pastoral.
That's a good word.
Yeah, I like it.
You looked that up before we did this top 10.
No, he has a great, how do you say it, vocabulary.
How do you say it?
It's not in my group of words I know.
Wingspan is a game that a lot of people, I think, were a little thrown off by the theme. I happen to think the theme is a positive for it. It's not something you see every day. I think it works for the game.
Yes.
It's not just the gorgeous art. I just think that the whole thing comes together in a beautiful package, both production-wise and mechanics-wise. I think this is a game that fits a terrific niche where it's not a gateway game by any means, but it's not also so heavy that it intimidates a lot of people. Wingspan is a fantastic game. It deserves the hype it's gotten.
I would like a copy of this.
You don't have a copy.
No.
You've played though, yeah?
Once?
Oh,
twice,
wow.
maybe?
Okay.
At one of the retreats.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was when it first came out.
Yeah, and so it was like it keeps growing and building and
Yeah.
being fattened up like a big old fat bird.
like a
There's actually only one expansion for it so
Yeah.
far.
And I gotta just play it more, I think. I need to just dig in,
Yeah.
see what I missed maybe.
It's a
you
game
know?
that rewards repeat plays as you get to know the birds a little bit better and kind of figure out what strategies you tend to like. And
They become your friends.
They do, yeah. Right. You talk to your birds.
It's getting weird. What's your number 10?
All right, my number 10 is, in my opinion, the best Come On game, and also my favorite game from Eric Lang.
Come on.
I really enjoy Blood Rage. This is a game that, I mean, the
I wouldn't
drafting,
put it on my list, that's for sure.
the drafting at the beginning of the game is a blast. You draft all these different cards and you set up your strategy each age, and then you have to like fulfill that strategy on the board. And you're kind of like figuring out how to play against the other players and get to the right spots. I gotta fulfill these quests. I gotta like backstab somebody with this Loki's trickery. I gotta
Yeah.
win this combat. And you're trying to figure out how to min-max your points in the different area. It feels actually very Euro-y because a lot of times the things that other players do in certain ways you can figure out a way to manipulate so it doesn't affect you a lot, but then also you're trying to make sure to minimize the points that other players are getting. It's definitely a ton of fun, and I love the drafting aspect of this game. I really enjoy Blood Rage.
I'd argue I don't think it feels Euro-y at all.
Really?
What?
No, because if we're saying that anything that does, what is not Euro-y then? Is it literally just rolling dice and attacking people?
Yes.
You're putting Ameritrash in a really small thing. This is
this is
straight
the
up
hybrid.
Ameritrash.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Hybrid.
I
Not
don't,
even a
I wouldn't
hybrid.
use trash.
You've got drafting.
ever.
Drafting is in Cosmic Encounter way before Euro games were even
Yeah, but
made.
this game is all about like victory
No, it's not actually in
points.
Cosmic Encounter. That's a very wrong thing. But the combat is Cosmic Encounter.
Yeah, it is.
You're trying to build a little engine of
Ish.
the cards and make it happen on the board. The combat, like going all out combat in this game is probably a bad idea, and losing combat is just as good as winning combat.
That doesn't mean that makes it Euro.
I wouldn't say.
What about
You're
the
gaining
sheep?
victory
How can
points.
it be a not sure with all the sheep in this game? How is it not a Euro?
Exactly.
Sheep.
I must have played a different game.
But yeah, I played
I love it.
a whole lot of Blood
I'm being
Rage.
trolled,
I really
and every
enjoyed
moment here I'm gonna.
I'm sorry. This is a Euro game, though.
Yeah,
This is definitely like 20% at least a Euro game.
at least, yeah.
It was on your list. It was on your list.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I think the game's fantastic.
Right.
I just don't think it's a Euro game.
I wouldn't call it a Euro game either. I said it was Euro-y. There's a difference. I said
Euro-y.
Don't you call me a wee.
You're a wee. You're a wee. You're all a wee.
All right, fine.
And I don't think you should hold that against the game.
I
honestly.
agree.
I'm not either. I just think that almost like I'd be like, hey, I know you like Euro games, you love Blood Rage. I doubt
don't
no,
think
you
that
wouldn't.
is true.
I don't think you'd lead
That's not what I'm
with
saying
Blood
at all.
Rage,
I'm just
yeah.
saying you're figuring out a way to build an engine with the things you draft to get victory points. Like it's the way that it falls together.
He's not conceding. I can see that.
I'm sorry. To me, if you had said who would like this game, Euro gamers, I would say, yeah, I don't think you should play it.
I've tried to convince Eurogamers to play this, and they just can't get past the cover.
Were you
or
throwing
the
the word
components.
sheep around? I mean, that might throw them off.
I may have lured a few people in.
Keep looking. The
with
sheep
the
are coming.
promise of
Just
sheep.
round
Change
three.
all the miniatures for cubes,
Right, yeah,
then they'll
that's
be
right.
like, this is a great
That's
area
right.
control Euro game.
Ragnarok, and the big sheep comes on the board.
They're all
Here it
hiding in
is.
Yggdrasil. All the sheep are in Yggdrasil, but they're hiding. All right.
Frolicking around the trees.
I do like that, replacing the minis with cubes. That might do it, actually. Yeah.
Well, then it would be Madara, right? Which is what it was.
Oh,
It was all cubes.
I hated Madara.
Yeah.
Well, then it's a Euro. All right, my number 10 pick here was just recently on Mike's list.
Woo!
And I believe this has moved up into my top 10 now. It's always been fairly high on my list, but it's up here now, and that is Abyss.
Oh, yeah.
Abyss, folks, is the one that just keeps on growing on me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games I like that, from Katala especially, he's got a co-designer on this one, but that I'll play and I like pretty much immediately, and I'm like, okay, this is where this one lives at. I rated about a 7. I rated an 8. Whatever, right? Abyss is the one that has definitely, from the first time I played it, at that Gen Con I saw it at, I liked it all right, but it just continues to grow on me.
Yeah.
And I think it is those things you mentioned. It's an overproduced card game.
Mm-hmm.
And so that first impression, you feel like, oh, this is a smaller game than I expected. Okay. And then the next time you play, you know that already. And now you play the second time and you go, oh, this other thing I didn't see. Okay, I'll accept that. And you put that in your bag. And then the third time you play, you now go in with fewer assumptions that you shouldn't have had.
Right.
It just keeps growing on me. It's so good. The expansions are great.
You like the second expansion better, right?
I think both expansions are solid. There's one thing in the first expansion I thought was pretty dumb, but
The Black Pearls?
no, that's like the central mechanism.
I don't
There's
know.
there's a type of location that you just top deck cards until you want to stop, so you might bust and get nothing for that location.
Yeah.
You know I love that.
Press your luck.
Yeah, it's a pressure. It's like a very. You remember when they added those war rules to Race for the Galaxy?
Yes.
And it was like a page of rules for something that happened every fourth game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Have you
I
ever
still.
seen it go down to where, you know, that one track is moving down, and then you can reset the track and get
Yes,
the goods?
yes.
Have you ever seen it gone past like the 4th spot on that track?
No.
So why is it even there? That's always
But
bugged me.
Leviathan,
Like,
doesn't that kind of take care of that?
Oh.
Yeah.
That track is not in the game in Leviathan expansion.
I gotta play though, Brian. It's sitting out
You're
there in
going
the
to like it.
counter.
You want to go right now? Let's go right now. I'm ready to go.
We just stopped the video.
That's right.
We'll see, y'all. We've already done it once. You know we'll do it. We're
That's
not
right.
joking.
All right, everybody. That is Abyss, my number 10.
Number 10 for the people has been on the list since the very beginning. It started at number 6. It was number 1 4 years in a row.
Wow.
Then went down to 2, 6, and now it's at 10.
Project Elite.
On the way out. No, it is Pandemic.
I knew Pandemic was one of the ones that had been at the top for a while.
Yeah, 4 years in a row, number 1.
Wow.
That's a pretty strong
That's
showing.
it. Your day in the sun is done, I guess.
This
Right.
is actually one of the reasons I like this list
It's
better
dropped
than
on
the Board
everybody's
Game
list,
Geek Top
honestly.
100. Because if someone comes and finds this list and says, what are great games to play, you'll see Pandemic.
You mean like archaeologists in the future?
No, like an ordinary person. Oh, what's with this tablecloth?
I know. We keep coming back to these tables.
I'm a garish man, and even that's too much for me.
Oh, man.
The virus has moved off the board.
Yeah, it does look like, they're spreading.
You can't
Anyway,
even see the cubes on the side. They're blending in.
Yeah.
did we lose? I don't know. Anyhow, I think Pandemic is just a really solid game. It's sold everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
Been out for a long time. This came out in what, 08? So that's
Yeah, but this game definitely did not have an explosion. when Pandemic first came out, it was pretty popular, but it
sure.
wasn't like the #1 seller. But
Yeah.
it just kept growing and growing.
You know what's interesting now is you see these at cons and stuff. The tournaments, the pandemic tournaments. I mean, it's taking on a whole new life with those.
I
too.
think the Pandemic tournament is the best tournament run at conventions
Yeah,
today.
it's great.
It's also, according to him, extremely stressful.
Sure, yeah. Well, you're not just going up against everybody else, but it just feels like a tournament. It comes with
Yeah.
all those things about, be careful what you do. As soon as they say, okay, time or whatever, you're done. Don't move anything. Don't touch anything on the board unless they tell you to. It has that, like,
I was
rigor.
stressed just watching.
Very formal.
Yeah, it's very formal, right. I'm glad I did it. I enjoyed the experience. It is an interestingly run tournament, but I don't necessarily want to do it all the time.
Right,
it's
right.
really stressful.
So the People's Choice number 10, Pandemic.
Yeah.
Number 9.
And it's still Pandemic. I'm sorry, Kenny. I'm sorry.
My number 9 is new to the list.
No.
Yeah, last year it was 103. So it's jumped up
Whoa!
hugely. Z predicted this would be my number 7, but he was off by 2.
Dude, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
Ooh, what did
you-
I say? I forget what game it is.
You also predicted
It's
Puerto
the
Rico would be 57.
Space base.
That's right.
Yes,
Space
but
base.
yes, you're right. Space base.
Ah.
Man, do I
Come
love
on,
this
man.
game.
That's really close. I said 7 and it was
Yeah.
9. You
That's
must
good.
have
Played
sweat
this
a
game
little bit.
8
when
I was like,
this year.
Well, you never know. This is probably the most played game I did this year. Every convention, I ended up playing it. The cruise last year.
Oh, you've played this
I kept
so
playing
much.
it, playing it. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that the game just continually interests me, and every time I play, there's a different combination. And it's
Yeah.
also fun to. This game is so much fun for me to teach people because you roll some dice and get stuff. And I played Machiko Legacy this year, and it was very fun. But man, I would never play Machiko or Catan over this. This is Catan and cards, and it's fast. It's not that in your face. There is one card in the game that's very in your face, and I almost want to take that card out because it just feels a little off from all the rest. There's one card that takes points away from the other players.
Good.
But
That's what you get.
I say
Roll
put,
better.
put in
But
more
Roll
of those.
better.
I really roll better. I really like this, and it's not even just that whole you win card aesthetic. I think that's fun. But
I like the fact that there's very little downtime in this game. The fact that like everybody's turn, you're always kind of doing something. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you rolled that, cool. I'm gonna do this. That's just fun.
yeah, and you get to do cool things. You get to make combos. You can put I almost always do it. Put everything in one number. Like, someone please roll a 9. If you roll
No
9,
whammies, no
I'm having.
whammies.
And then no one. Or you can just spread out and do
Sure.
every number.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
If you like odds or statistics and rolling dice, this game is really solid. I love Space Base. My number 9.
Nice.
All right, my number 9 is a game that the first time I played it, I was instantly enamored with it. It's gotten better every time I've played it because I feel like it's the type of game that has a depth of strategy that will reveal new things every time you play it. That is Paladins of the West Kingdom.
Whoa.
This game is. So there are other games earlier in this general. You have Architects, of course, by the same design team that did Paladins, and then one half of this design team did the North Sea games, and those are nice, kind of more entry level to midway. This game
Right.
is thinky. This is really crunchy. A huge decision space in this game. My favorite mechanic is really that drawing those 3 cards from the top of your deck, and one of those cards you're going to use, and it's going to tell you what you can do. One you put at the bottom of your deck, you may not see it again. The other one you put at the top is going to be in your choice for the next round.
Okay.
It's really, really smart.
Sounds like the mechanism in La Isla.
Oh, I guess there is a little bit of a
Yeah, yeah.
little bit of a similarity there. It's got aesthetics that I love. It's got mechanics that I love. It's got a time frame that I love. It plays in
Point
about an
salad.
hour. It's a
Would
point
you call
salad.
this a Euro game?
This is a Amerithrash all the way. I mean,
It says
American
Paladins
Thrashing.
on the cover, Z.
That's right.
Come on.
Thrashy.
Right, yeah.
Look, they got weapons.
right. In round 5, you just swipe everything off the table. So
And roll dice as quickly as you can.
Exactly. That's right. But no,
I'm in.
this is a game that I was probably predisposed to like because I've liked the other games in the series, and this is the heaviest of them, but still approachable enough. That is Paladins of the West Kingdom. I love it.
This is your favorite of 2019, right?
Yeah, this was my #1 game of 2019.
Oh,
So the rest of this list is predictable.
But you're old garbage.
I'm 0 for 2 so far.
Did you get ours?
Nice.
Yes, I did. Both of y'all's.
All right.
Did you hear this?
I'm very
My
interested
number
in it.
9 is a living card game. It is my favorite living card game out there, and that is Arkham Horror, the card game.
Woo, straight evil.
I enjoy this game. There is so much story and theme in this game. You're playing an investigator, but it took kind of like a little bit of the mechanics of the Lord of the Rings living card game and just added like a board with cards, and you're exploring things, and just added. It feels almost more like a board game than a card game because you're walking around a city.
Yeah.
You're doing all sorts of different stuff, and the story in this game is amazing. Like you play through a campaign through a like mythos cycle or whatever, but the choices you make in some scenarios will come back and play back out in future scenarios. And it's just crazy all the stuff they've been able to do with this game, and the more mythos packs they come out with, the more crazy things that'll happen. Like sometimes, oh my goodness, you flip over a card and that's a location now and it goes into play and I can now go there. Or like the way that they've done the mechanics in this game and the way that they keep surprising you with things that they come out with, the way they're able to manipulate the system is just really cool. And I feel like as far as some of the Lovecraft games go, this has a lot of that theme and story of like spooky weirdness going on. So I really enjoy Arkham Horror, the card game, and that's why it's my number 9. It'll probably be higher on someone else's list.
Do you think that you'll see Marvel passes that awesome day, or?
The problem is, I feel like mechanically,
I didn't ask you.
just as far as the mechanics go, the whole running around the board thing, it's just so much more like the robustness in the system.
There's
is way
more
bigger.
game here.
And I really
There's more game.
board
enjoy.
game.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the fact that like you're incrementally leveling up your characters. Like there's deck building, but not a whole lot of deck building. You get experience points. You can spend a couple of those in between each mission. So you're slowly leveling up, and I don't know, just the way that the mechanics of this game work.
Yeah, I think this is a board game,
Disguised as a card game, sort of.
and the Marvel game's a card game.
Right,
Right.
I agree.
It just there's so much more story and theme in this game than there is in the Marvel one.
Okay.
But I really enjoy the Marvel one too, just for the combos.
I would love it if they called this Arkham Horror, the board game.
The card game. The dice game.
Basically what it is.
Now with dice.
There's way more story in this than like the Arkham Horror board game or Eldritch Horror 2. Like it's just straight story basically.
sure.
So I really enjoy it.
It's all right. All right, my number 9 was my number something in the top 10 last year. This is what? You look at me like
I'm just waiting for the bomb to drop.
Piper Tales. Oh yeah!
Wow.
Drafting.
Nice.
Paper Tales was on your list
Yes.
recently. I was very excited to see it on anyone's list because
Yeah.
it doesn't get a lot of love.
Oh, it's so good.
And it is such a neat game. It is my favorite drafting game, I think. I guess so. Yeah, I think it's so engaging. It's quick, it's clever, it's extremely well laid out where the turns are smooth because, like you said, they give you an icon and a phase number for
Right.
everything that happens in the game. You should at no point be lost with what happens next in this game. It feels like Seven Wonders somehow streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
Though Seven Wonders was very streamlined,
Right.
but there's more phases in this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this has the replayability of Seven Wonders? I like this a lot.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a little
And
expansion.
there's an expansion
if
which
you want
really
to.
opens that up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I still haven't played the expansion, but I like the base game a lot.
Yeah, I do think that this has the replayability of Seven Wonders. There's a solo mode, which is great. I really enjoy this game, and I love the look of it.
I do
That's
too.
another thing. I think the gimmicky paper characters that they have on the cards is a great look. It does feel like a fairy tale kind of setting.
Yeah.
They managed to pull it all together. This is supremely underrated, I
It
think.
really is.
Paper Tales is amazing.
Nice big player count too. I think it plays to what, 6 or 7, something like that.
Does it?
I think so.
I only ever play with one.
Yeah.
The people
That's not
disagree.
true.
Their number 9 is Seven Wonders.
What?
Ah,
I challenge all of humanity.
not just the people voting on this,
That's right.
but the other several billion people.
Yeah.
This has also been on the list since we started doing this. It debuted at 4 and made it as high as 2,
Did it ever hit
losing
7?
the pandemic. No, not
you
once
gotta make this
has
happen,
it been
people. Come
7, 4, 2, 5, 6, 6, 2, 5, 9, 9.
That's like all around it, too. That's
You're
pretty
just gonna
hilarious.
dance around the 7. Come on.
No, but this is one, again, this is very popular. I wonder why this one takes off and say Paper Tales does not. Maybe because
This
the
was first.
the civilization theme is
yeah.
also very popular.
Yeah.
And this was first.
And it was first.
This
yeah.
has been around for a long time. So a lot of
Anybody who
people
plays
know it.
Paper Tales
Technically,
now.
Fairy Tale was first, but
No, but I mean, like, if
Yeah,
anybody
true.
plays Paper Tales now that is familiar with this, nobody who I've shown it to doesn't go, oh, it's like Seven Wonders.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. That's part of it. That it arrived earlier.
Right.
But yeah, it's a fantastic game.
All
It's a
right.
good pick.
People's choice, your number 9, Seven Wonders.
Number 8.
All right, my number 8 is another one that's new to the top 10. It's not new to the list. It was
possible.
45 last year, 24. Although this, back in 2009, debuted in my top 10 at 7, and then I made it all the way up to 4, and then dropped down. But it's back up to 8, because I realized I play this enough, and I like this enough, that it goes in my top 10.
Is it a flicking game
No, it's a card game.
where you flick cards?
There's only cards.
Okay, you
Wow.
don't flick them.
This game has more expansions than most games.
Dominion.
Heroescape,
Dominion.
Oh.
the card game.
Heroescape, the card game. Dominion, I don't know. I really like it. I know it's fallen out of favor, and then all these new deck builders come around, and I'm like, oh, look at this. Arctic Scavengers does this. Thunderstone does this. Marvel Legendary, and then I come back and play Dominion. I'm like, wow, this is so clean.
It's just the mechanism, right?
It really is. Now, and they've done some really wonky stuff, but they've had a nice bell curve, in my opinion, where they had some really cool expansions. Then they started doing all this wonky nonsense,
Yeah.
and then in the last expansion was like, hey, we're back, don't worry, normality. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I've gotten rid of all these really weird stuff. I mostly just kind of jettisoned that from my set. I just play with the fun cards, and there's still like 100
Yeah.
some different cards to play with.
For sure.
Well, more than that, I think. I like it. I think it's fantastic. It's fun. It's fast. I only want to play with either people who have never played before that don't have analysis paralysis, or people who are really good at it.
Yeah.
I don't want to play with that medium crowd they already know the game pretty well, and then they sit there and go, let me think for a while. Like, no, I want to play fast.
Just let's go.
Buy
Yeah.
a card.
I'm not playing this with you, though.
This kind of seems like it has a similar thing
I
with
hate
Magic,
playing.
where they might try some kind of to innovate a little bit, and they kind of let the people figure out, like, yeah, we don't like this. Let's get back. You know what I mean?
Sure, although I would argue Magic nowadays has a really strong design team.
Right,
They have
right.
enough play testing going on. They clear a lot of stuff out before it hits the main thing. Dominion, I'm not feeling that on. I feel like they try out a new idea and then
Yeah.
look at the reaction. I'm not even sure they listen to the reaction.
Yeah. They
And-
certainly don't about the art. I can tell you that. 'Cause I've been trying to be a one-person.
I didn't say this was my favorite art
Right,
game,
right.
Yeah.
but I just
I-
like it a lot.
I definitely don't like playing with people who really know the game, because that's
Yeah.
not fun. I like
Well, I do because
Playing, you
even
know,
though I
like,
play
people
with
are
people who
just-
really like the game, they still haven't seen that exact combo. So there's no, well, this is obviously the first thing you buy. I don't normally run into that.
Okay.
If I make sure it doesn't happen because I usually throw black market in and then I don't know how to deal with that.
Right.
Black market is not an optimal card, but it could be. Right? You know what I mean? It could have that one weird thing in there.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
My number 8 is my favorite game from a living legend of a game designer. This designer has had years where he's designed more classics than other designers have done in their whole career. Talking about Rainier Knizia and Blue Moon City.
So I really enjoy hearing that word city in there.
I like Blue Moon too, but Blue Moon City to me is a game that has the hallmarks of a Knizia in that you can teach it to anybody in about 10 minutes, maybe a little longer.
You might have to consistently explain what each of the cards does. But
Yeah,
yes.
but once you internalize that, which doesn't take too long, this has that thing that I like in a lot of his games too, but games in general, which they allow you to feel clever
Yes.
off of your hand of cards, right? It's like, okay,
yes.
every turn is its own distinct puzzle. All right, I want to do this. I have these cards. There's got to be a way to do it. I just need to figure out how to make it happen. And you usually can, and it usually is just like that click where you figure it out. You're like, yes, I got it. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to manipulate this. I'm going to move the dragon here. That's going to allow me to do this. It's got that kind of tile laying. You're building, the board is already built, but it's really simple. I mean, you're really just using your cards to spend cubes of a particular color, and you're trying to build these unbuilt, or rebuild, I think, the cities that have been kind of torn down. And an aspect of it that I really like is that if one of your opponents has a cube there and you finish out that building and you have the majority, you're going to get the biggest bonus for doing it, but other people that were on that tile are also going to get a lesser bonus too.
Right. Yeah, there's a bunch of different strategies in a game that's so simple.
And it's a
'Cause you
race.
can be a scavenger,
Right.
where somebody's nearly done with a building, or a couple of players are. You can just show up there, give a measly amount, get almost as much as they do. There's also that hand management concept of, I can do this and bring in a dragon and that other dragon. How much is that costing me?
Right.
Is that worth it?
Sure, yeah, that cost
There's
benefit.
this is a very, I would say it's an extremely subtle game.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
It
when
is.
you win, you almost always, if everybody's about the same competence, somebody would have won on that
the
turn.
next turn. Yeah, you're exactly right.
So you win by inches. That I by turns love and hate sometimes in this game.
yeah.
Where sometimes if I think about it, I go, "Oh, I got outplayed," or I outplayed someone. But it was, by inches. Somewhere I made a small, adjustment that won or lost me the game. But then sometimes I'm like, I would have just won on my turn. That's garbage. You went first. You went earlier than I
That's
did.
the difference between a poor winner.
And a bad loser.
I mean, a good sport and a bad loser, right?
I think that I think you have a valid point there. But B, to counter that valid point, that would bother me a lot more if it was a 2-hour game.
Oh, sure. No, and I'm not saying it's not balanced. This game is tight. It's just subtle.
Yeah, it is. And I guess if if it was a 45-minute game and that happens, it's all right. All right, I'll get you next time. You know what I mean? 2 hours, I'm like, forget this. But yeah.
I do agree with you, though, that this game lets you make some moves. You're like, look at that turn I just did. But it's like almost every turn is that. Right?
But that's what I like.
Cool.
I
I
did
love
this,
that
I threw
feeling.
some dragons and that.
Yeah.
And then you do the same thing. But it's still fun.
It's still cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
So my
nice.
number 8, Blue Moon City.
That's nice to see that game get this much love.
Nice.
What garbage you got?
My number 8 is a game that I played for the first time over 20 years ago.
What?
Wait,
Ew.
in the womb?
Oh, sick burn.
But yeah, my number 8 is Dune/Rex. They're technically
Dune
the
Rex?
same game.
Oh, wait. I would like to hear some trash thrown Roy's way now.
It's the same
For
game.
what? For Dune/Rex?
It's the same design.
Or is it Rex?
They're
slight
not the
differences.
same game. They're slightly different.
They have a different theme.
And there's also different rules.
I actually really enjoy both of the themes for this because I enjoy the Dune theme just for the sci-fi nature of it, but I also really enjoy the Twilight Imperium and Rex world. But it's just interesting the way that this game works overall. I mean, the combat is very deterministic as you're like bidding units and trying to math out how to beat your opponents. But there's tons of there's traitors in this game, there's backstabbing in this game, there is all sorts of different factions that play extremely differently, and you have to kind of react to those factions differently as you play the game. It's like, man, we really got to make sure they don't get all the money, and oh man, I want to ship these people down on the planet. I need to ally with you so I can do that for cheaper. And you can trade money back and forth, and you can create and break alliances, and you can only create and break alliances at certain times. Then there's sand words coming up and taking
In
over your
Rex?
people.
No, in Rex, it's what is it in
a
Rex?
fleet, bombardment fleet.
Oh yeah,
going
fleet's
around.
bombarding.
So
It's not as exciting actually.
There's
I think that's
sandworms,
exciting. That's
there's
cool.
spice, there's influence. I really enjoy the way this game works, and I've just had a blast playing it. And I mean, I played it some as a kid, but after getting Rex and playing it with my game group, I played it a ton, and I really enjoyed the backstabbing and negotiation and figuring out the way these things work. And it's just a great game with huge asymmetrical powers. So Dune/Rex is my number 8.
So you've got them both, one in each hand, and you're told you can only keep one. Which one are you keeping?
I already made this decision because I had Rex and I've been playing it forever, and then I had the copy of Doom before the new reprint came out, and I actually donated. I couldn't play my copy of Doom because it was worth like $200, so I donated it to the Jack Vassell Memorial Auction just because I'm like, I can't. I mean, it has paper cards.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm not going to play a $200 game with paper cards.
Right.
So I definitely enjoyed Rex, but I'm really excited to play and dig into the new version of this.
Right.
So
Is Rex easy to get?
Actually,
I don't
that
think
one I
it'd
think
be
is
that
going
hard
out
to
of
get.
print now.
Yeah,
It's
probably
probably
out of print.
harder.
I played Dune ages ago, once, and I think I would like to try Rex, just to see
Rex
what
is
they
a
did.
faster game. They streamlined it to make it a little bit. It's still not short. It's like
Sure,
3
sure,
hours.
sure.
The problem I have with Dune, I love Dune. It's just that for best maximum enjoyment, you want
need
6
6.
players.
Yeah, right.
And the game has one of the wildest swings of playtime in existence. It could be 2 hours. It could be 6.
Listen, you got to make a day of it and get in there for the long haul.
But it
I'm
might
not afraid of epic
But
games.
it might not be a day. That's my
Yeah.
thing. It
Right.
might be a short victory too. You know, interestingly enough, we just talked about this in the news the other day, and there was 2 new factions that are coming
Yeah.
out with.
Yes.
And I
Right.
said something to the effect
How
of,
does that even
these
work?
must be from the other stuff, and obviously I don't read well because they're from the original book, and
Yeah.
I was like, people are like, they're definitely in there.
Yeah.
Got it. It's been a
They
long
were
time since I
actually
read Dune.
designed by Frank Herbert.
I'm really
The
excited.
factions, they had him on as a.
Roy actually just did an interview
Yeah, I did
with
an
one of the
interview with-
designers of Dune.
Bill Everly, it was awesome. We talked tons about Dune and Cosmic Encounter. That's
cool.
It's just cool to like talk to somebody with like this long history in game design, because these guys kind of invented asymmetrical powers like back in the day. And I mean, they haven't come out with tons of games since then, but the games they came out with, people are still playing, which is crazy.
Yeah, they were way ahead of the curve. Those guys, very new. Alrighty, where am I at here, guys? Number 8. My number 8 is new to the list because it is new to the world, and it is Imperial Settlers: Empires of the North,
Nice.
which I'm sure Tom guessed on his
I thought
list.
this would be higher on your list.
I thought it was going to be high
8
too,
is pretty
actually.
good.
It's garbage.
8 is really good, actually.
I only play people's top 5 games with them. or nothing.
All right. This is great. This is very fun. I like the difference between the different factions you can play in the game. In it, you are going to be collecting resources, sending out your ships on expeditions, placing out 2 pawns that behave as workers to that center wheel there. It's a really fun game. It's one that moves at a nice clip. It's got a pleasant theme. I enjoy the vibrant nature of it. It's very pretty. It's very cutesy. But there's a lot going on in the game, you know, and you have a lot of different ways to attack what you want to do. There are different ways to manipulate what's happening, what's available to you. I like the time frame in it too. Great 2-player games. Fantastic at 2. The only thing I would say I could see being a small hindrance is that each of the decks of cards really does have one very strong way to play that deck. And maybe a couple of sub-themes, minor sub-themes. So if you play this a lot with those 6 decks that you have,
Yeah.
I could see them becoming a bit scripted. I think that's why it lives at around 8 for me.
Okay.
You know, because...
To be clear, folks, I'm kidding on this. I think
Yeah,
8
no,
is
no.
pretty good.
No, I mean, this is a fantastic game, but I could see, again, playing the same one faction a lot and being like, okay, this is what these guys do this one
Right.
thing.
Don't worry. In about 10 years, you're going to have
be
so many
100
factions. You'll never get
factions. Already we have 10, and there are 6 in the
Man.
base game, so
It
there's
just
already
came out.
4 more. And
Right,
they
the
are,
game literally came out in October.
yeah,
That's
and they are
crazy.
excellent factions. So I really enjoy this. This is such an easy game to throw down and play. I enjoy teaching it because it's a fairly logical game. The explanation will make sense. You know, it's sort of it unfolds in a natural way. Yeah, I think this is a fantastic card game. Love it.
Yeah. I'm glad I had a chance to play it recently. It's really good.
People's Choice number 8 was 15 last year, 27 the year before that. So
Wow,
it's brand
moving up.
new to the list in a sense that it keeps moving up there. This is the highest ranked fister on the list. That's the only one actually in the top 50, I think, and that would be Great Western Trail.
Of course.
Sure, there's a lot of other fantastic games that he's done, and I'm curious to see where Maracaibo ends up. Although I think this one has some buzz because,
The artwork.
The cover clearly.
well,
is
stupid as it is, this is a theme that's very rarely done in Euro games.
That's true.
The Western
Yeah,
Trail
right.
type thing. That's something different. Like Maracaibo is same old,
Yeah,
shipping
yes.
and then whatever. See who cares. This one you're rustling, not rustling. You're taking. I think you're not rustling. You're doing legitimate
Yeah.
cattle
Yeah.
drives. That's something different. Now the theme is not there much, but it has some really good mechanisms. It's widely regaled, highly. So
Not
Yeah.
my favorite fister, but I get I get that it's popular.
I'll show you my favorite. All right.
Not okay.
What is your favorite fister? Is it coming?
Well, no, you have to go for large and small. Small is Port Royal. Large is probably. I do like Blackout quite a bit.
Port Royal's amazing.
Isn't it good?
Blackout
Hong Kong. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the sequel's coming this year. Just Blackout.
Just Blackout.
Blackout.
Let's move on. here.
Tennessee or something.
Number 7.
All right, my number 7 was 8 last year, and the year before that was 140.
What is happening?
Whoa.
Woo! Well, this one's not as big of a change from last year.
Well, but it jumped 100 points the last time.
That was
before that.
mostly because I played it a ton in 2018 because of one expansion that forced me to play it a lot.
Because it's
Does that
Legacy?
mechs in it?
It does have mechs in it.
does it have
Scythe.
minions?
Oh.
Oh, I know.
Scythe is just, I don't know. I mean, when I first saw it, I was super excited because I was expecting a war game. I mean, that
Yeah.
cover looks like a war game.
Yeah.
It's not. In fact, there's very little war. Although Rise of Fenris added more to it
Okay.
than was there before, which I was glad for. And Rise of Fenris also allowed you to kind of pick, do you want to play with more warfare or do you want to play with less? And honestly, I kind of picked the one where you play with less because I like the main mechanism of this game, which is pick an action, take that action. You can't pick it again next turn unless you play red and you're cheesy. I never play that
I don't
color.
either. I don't like that.
I feel like that's the easiest power. I'm not saying it's the strongest. It's the easiest one. But anyway, and then you get another action, but the other action that you possibly could take is different per game. I just think that's a cool concept.
Right.
And then I like upgrading your actions. That's just a really neat thing to do that. And then the rest of it, the beautiful board and moving around, and there is some combat, and the combat is the exact same as Dune, which you just
Right.
mentioned.
Yeah, I really enjoy that.
So, yeah, just the whole thing is a really good package. I believe this is my favorite Stonemeyer game.
Nice.
That is correct.
I really need to play this
Probably
game
not the
more.
last time you'll hear a Stonemeyer game mentioned today, but for now it is from my end.
I've only played this a couple times, and I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, this has a Euro-y feel, but I really enjoy
Yes,
it.
this time that's correct.
Just a
Yes.
straight up
This is
Euro.
definitely a marathon.
But I enjoy like you said the combat in it, and I really need to play this more. I've had kind of like some interesting games of it, which I think has made it not go as high for me. But I would enjoy playing this.
Well, the
more.
game does allow occasionally that cheesy things to happen.
It could.
There's
Sure.
someone in our game group I would recommend not playing the game with, but that person also does not like the game.
There you go.
So they think it's solved. So
Wonder
at
who.
least hopefully he's not complaining about a first turn advantage.
There's a massive first turn advantage. All right.
go ahead.
My number 7, I believe we had a false alarm 5-way crossover with Deception that turned out not to be a 5-way crossover. I think we have a legit 5-way crossover with my number 7.
I'm not
Does
getting
it start
excited
with-
until I hear it.
Is it a Euro-y game?
This is as Euro as you can get.
Well, it's not on my list then because
This is Blood Rage.
actually that is a 5. Well, no, I don't know if it's shown up in the People's Choice. there.
I'm
definitely
pretty
showed up
sure
on
it was
the
on the
People's
People's
It's not
Choice.
shown up in the People's Choice as far as I can tell, and possibly not know in the future.
Gotcha.
It probably will happen here in a second.
You don't know anything.
There's no way this is higher than Rising Sun.
Breaking news! Four-way crossover with the potential for more.
Well,
Look,
I'm 0 for 4 with Mike so far.
yeah, we've talked a lot.
Oh, I'm more excited about you just getting one of his than guessing mine. That's great.
We've talked a lot about Blood Rage, so I don't want to belabor the point. But man, it's just good. It is just a game that I haven't had a bad game of Blood Rage. I've had some that are better than others, but I've not had a. And
I would
that
say the last
includes-
game we played together might have been a bad game of Blood Rage.
Well, it
for
was
you.
bad for me because I played horribly, but I had fun losing. You know,
Yeah,
I
I
got
know, that's
crushed.
what he means.
I know.
And this is a game where you can have a point swing of 60 points. And you know what? I don't care because I enjoy
That
it.
is true. Normally that bugs me in games in Blood
Yeah.
Rage. I'm just like,
You know what?
that worked out.
I didn't play very well. That's why I'm 60 points behind. I get it. You know, it feels fair when you've lost. It's like, okay,
Guess
man,
so, yeah.
I just didn't do this very well. Usually it's because you're trying for something and you're on the precipice of it, and then you fall on your face. And that's okay because you went for it, right?
Right.
So Blood Rage is terrific. I
A
don't want
life
to spend.
lesson. Blood
It
Rage is a life lesson.
That's right. That's it. Exactly. Do better.
Unless you're
Pillage
Milky, that's
better.
a death lesson.
Give in to your blood rage.
That's right. Number 7, Blood Rage.
I approve.
All right, Roy, what you got?
All right, my number 7 is my favorite game in the Commands and Color system. I actually really only like one game in the Commands and Color system, and it's this one, Battlelore 2nd Edition.
Second edition, you two, you bunch of traitors. It's first edition or nothing.
I really enjoy the way the powers work in
Someone
this
just
game.
emailed me about that and said that same thing. Sorry, Roy, go
I
ahead.
really enjoy like the different factions in this game. I don't know. I enjoy the Terranoth universe for this. I enjoy playing the Undead faction. It's really cool. I wish they would have come out with elves for this, but it's
Yes.
really cool to play. I've actually, I don't know. It might be cheesy. I think this has gone up my list because I made a homebrew like epic variant of this that we played at the retreat, where I'll play like basically Overlore from Memoir. I took some of the Battlelore First Edition rules and put it in, and like we're gonna play an epic like 8-player game of Battlelore, and it's always been a blast when we play.
So this is on your list because you designed for it? That's what you're saying?
I didn't. It's
This
not
will not be
official.
the last time you hear this in this top 10.
Battlelore Canada
Tell me I'm wrong.
Edition.
What are you talking? Oh well, I mean, I guess I didn't. I mean, it's not official, but I really.
I know, but it's like, this game is so good. I should also mention I changed the rules.
Richard Borg.
I enjoy
got
playing
this.
it 2 players. I enjoy the way that when you play the cards out, there's special powers on there, and you have this like fog of war placing out of your units. The game itself is amazing, and I love the powers and stuff on all the characters. So.
But if you want to fix your copy, email Roy at...
No, I've gotten a ton of those, and I'm kind of like.
Well, now I know.
I have a folder that they just go to, so I don't even see them
I
anymore.
couldn't
you go.
remember if you had already said Memoir, but I put this in your top 10. So Memoir, you said this is your best of the series.
I don't really. I'm not a huge fan of like the actual like real war theme. So Memoir is not on my list, so.
Anti-history. Got to remember that about Roy.
I just don't want
Pro
people to get hurt.
Sphinxes. Anti-history. Yes.
I like dragons and space.
Down with tanks, up with dragons. There we go.
I agree with that message.
Although there
100%.
are some people though who really feel that way because fantasy doesn't
Yeah.
bring out any
Right,
negative
sure.
memories.
Right,
people-
of course.
Like, my father was killed by a dragon. No one says that.
Right.
I'm assuming no one says that.
In D&D, I lost to a dragon once. I rolled
Yeah,
a 1.
I don't think anyone has PTSD from a D&D session when they were a kid.
Jeez.
He stole all my gold.
All right.
Go ahead.
Talking of PTSD, this is a game that dropped a little bit for me on my list. It's a very fun, cooperative game I enjoy quite a bit. It's Pandemic. Yes.
There we go.
Pandemic is my number 7. This was my number 1 for a long time.
I want to see chat
I can't
right now.
move.
It's just not that good anymore. I'm over it. No, I still very much like Pandemic. I've played it a lot. This is an extremely well-played
same
game for me.
picture.
Oh, that's good. Come on. Here's what happened.
He saw his picture and it dropped down his list. That's what happened.
Yeah, we need the medic there. That medic is there
That's
for a
my
purpose.
picture from home, and what happened was I think I stopped enjoying it because of the cover. We did take it out back and burn it, but the damage was done at that point. No, I enjoy this game very much still. It's just...
Oh, chat
It's
is
been-
dying. I think you killed several people.
It's been so many years. I think, I took an honest look at everything right now, and I just put them, side by side
Sure.
with everything. What do I want to play right now? This dropped a bit for me.
Yeah.
I've cooled on it a little bit. I still think it's a fantastic design. I definitely think that when played with the wrong group, it can lead to folks telling other people what to do. It's
Sure.
unfortunate, but it's part of, again, the game group, not the game. That happens with a lot of co-op games. But it's a blast, and it's one that I've taught to so many different kinds of people, and it's one that is so thematic. It's so engaging. I love watching folks learning this game
Yeah.
be immersed in the would-be scenario of this, these 4 epidemics spreading around the world.
Yeah.
It's so clever and cinematic and
Yeah.
interesting. I think Matt Leacock is a fantastic designer. Being able to take small concepts and have them create massive repercussions in a game.
Yeah.
Shuffle the cards, put them back on top of the decks. It's a tiny rule,
Right.
but it's so brilliant.
It is.
So 2 things. One, earlier in this 30 hours of us doing this,
Yes.
you mentioned that there was 2 pandemics, so this is the last one.
Yes.
There was Pandemic Iberia.
Yes.
So Legacy
But
is completely
Legacy
fallen
is
off
not
your
on the list, or do you just kind of put that in the same category?
Legacy is a fantastic experience. It's not a replayable game.
Okay. No, I actually don't disagree with you, which is...
I also don't have any escape room games on my list.
I should mention that because last year my escape room games I put as a whole category, put number 2. We talked about this earlier, and escape rooms are just not really games.
Yeah, if
You
they
know,
don't make it on the list, then Pandemic Legacy doesn't make it on the list.
Wasn't Pandemic Legacy on my list? You didn't say nothing when I said it.
Oh, that's fine. I say for me. Look, if you haven't played Pandemic Legacy and you like cooperative games, you like story in your games, you need to stop watching this and go play Pandemic.
No kidding. Go play it right now!
But once you are done with that experience, you can throw that box away.
We had all suspected that Z was going to drop this because we know that you played at least 1 game of this year that was not an A+ game.
I played several games this year of this that I've had problems with, yeah. And again, I'll say it was not the game, it was the people.
If you don't want to play me, just tell me.
I tried.
I wouldn't leave.
So if you played Pandemic with Z this year, this is your fault.
You know who you are. You know who you are. You're
Alrighty.
responsible for this.
Stop telling people what to do.
People's Choice for number 7 has been on the list for 8 years, and this is the highest. I'm checking now. Highest failed on the list.
It's got to be one.
Yeah, Castles of
on.
Burgundy. Now it's not one of yours,
I
man.
want it to be Brugge.
Now, you know what it is? I don't think Bruges is in print right now.
Yeah,
is
I
it?
think that's it.
Bruges
Castles-
isn't brown enough.
Casa Burgundy just had the ultra deluxe, better than War of the Ring version.
Now with more brown.
Yeah, well, the Casa Burgundy still gets a lot of love. People like it despite how it looks. And I will say that the newer version did not look, I thought, as bad as the first version.
That's
a
come
low
on. That's
bar.
like that
That's
kid
a
who
low
keeps,
bar. You can
who
trip
keeps like
you go over
cutting
that
kids
bar.
at school and one day brings home a C+. You're like, oh my God, we're taking you out to dinner.
That's right.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, like shivving people. at
Stop
school.
talking about Jimmy, okay?
I think it's a weird thing to give it praise for now suddenly looking slightly better. It could have been a deluxe version. It was not.
Well,
It was
either
alternate
way,
artwork.
Obviously, people really like the idea of this, using dice a different way. Felt very popular
Yes.
for sure. And this game, I don't see it dropping anytime soon. Like I said,
No.
it was 8 last year, 14, 15, 22. It was 14 and 15. People stopped playing it or something briefly. But it's just consistently moving up. I don't see it dropping out
Oh,
next
this is
year.
a massive hit.
And it's good across all player counts, too. I think that helps.
Yeah.
There you go, number 7.
Number 6.
Remember when I promised you all a 24-hour marathon? If we hit, I'm going to actually check to see if we actually have hit our 24-hour marathon because I'm going to count this as this is the beginning.
Oh, we're starting right now if we hit that?
Wouldn't that be an awful surprise? Like no prep, Nothing. No, we haven't hit the goal yet, so no.
That would be insane, yes.
My number 6 was number 6 last year.
What?
And it's been on the list for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 10th year it's been on the list. It's been as high as 2, and it debuted at 22. It's always been in the top 10 since then. We talk a lot about 1v1 games. This is my king of those, and that's Summoner Wars. Already on Roy's list. Still love this game. I think because of simplicity. Even if you take the most complex part, the dual faction summoners, which were released in a secondary set, and then you build decks with those, you're like spending 20 minutes. You know, it's and I like how the deck is also your mana, so to speak. So the more you spend, if you bring out your champions, you're not bringing out a lot of other people.
Yes.
And so you have to make that decisions. They're tough decisions. And the factions play so differently. It's amazing how they made them all feel different, and they made them all feel balanced. I'm not good enough to be able to tell you, that maybe stat-wise one is better than the other, but they don't feel like it. I definitely have rankings for the different sets. I definitely like some better than others because I like the play styles. And then they came out with a second summoner for all the factions. So then I had everything times 2.
Wow.
There's a ton of content for this game.
Right.
Really, really fun.
What's your favorite faction?
I was going to ask.
Jungle Elves.
Shadow Elves.
Benders.
Not even close.
Benders is cool.
I don't actually hate playing the Benders, but I hate playing against the Benders a lot.
That's right, you
They're
filthy
like,
elves.
they're like playing against blue, basically.
I like the Blood Sheep. Those are my favorite.
Blood
Have you
Sheep.
played this?
Yeah, I played it.
Blood Sheep.
I played the
The
Blood Sheep.
unreleased,
I have actually played it.
unofficial faction.
That's
That
right.
was the AEG crossover.
I designed that faction, so I mean, I
so it
will only
makes the
play
game better.
with the Blood Sheep. But it's all right.
All right, my number 6, Summoner Wars.
All right, very nice.
My number 6 to me feels like a new classic. It's not new, but I feel like it is going to be in that kind of pantheon of classic games. This is a game that was on your list.
Of course it was.
Don't know if it was on your list or
It was
not.
not.
May have been on the People's Choice list. This is Five Tribes.
I don't even know why I bothered guessing for you.
You should have just picked the 10 best games. That's my list. Five Tribes is just, again, it feels like a modern classic to me. Everything about this game feels like it was designed to a razor-sharp honed edge. Nothing in this game feels out of place. Nothing in this game feels unnecessary. Every single thing in this game feels, and I know you like the expansions, and they're good.
Yeah.
I never have to play with the expansions. The base game itself is enough for me to keep playing because so much of it is built around these basic core net mechanisms that work so well. I like the bidding. I like the importance of turn order. I like the spatial puzzle you get every time. I like what a lot of people hate about it because I'm more of a tactical than a strategic gamer. I don't mind that the board's going to change between my turn and my next turn. I like that. Because let's
Do you
be
like
honest.
the bidding? Because that's my least favorite part.
Oh, it's not my favorite part, but I think it's good because I do think that it heightens the importance of turn
I
order.
always struggle because I'm like, I don't know if this
love
is
the
worth
bidding
this
in
much.
this game.
I don't know if me going before you is worth the difference in points.
I
I think a lot of people think you have to bid. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But because it's not about always bidding. I played tons of rounds in which whoever bids before me and then I go 0.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do too, but then
and
I
just
lose.
let people bleed victory points. It's a great double-edged sword, that
really
bidding
is.
track. I
It
love
really,
it.
really is.
But then when I need to, it's there for me and I can go bam,
Right.
8 because I know my turn is 22 points.
Right. Exactly.
If I'm first.
Got it.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, and every round you're making that decision.
Yeah.
It's great. Five Tribes is a game, like I said, every single part of this game feels necessary and nothing more. Just such a good game.
So you're so smart, Mike. You're such
I do what I can.
a clever man.
All right, my number 6. Tom just had a plaid hat game on his list. I have a plaid hat game for my number 6 as well.
Samurai sword.
I already said that one. But this is my highest ranked plaid hat game, and it is a hidden movement game from Emerson Matsuchi, and this is Spectre Ops.
Yeah.
I really enjoy hidden movement.
Right.
And I really enjoy how this takes hidden movement, makes it not like crazy complicated, but then also adds a lot of really cool powers into it. And I really enjoy how like not only are you trying to find the person, you're also trying to beat the person down.
Oh, that's me.
So you have to find them and like actually do attacks against them and utilize special powers as hunters. It's really cool as a hunter to like puzzle out where's the agent, where are they gonna be, and as the agent you can be like standing still hiding in a corner or like sneak past a guy, and like the whole line of sight thing in this game, how you can try to like manipulate it to work for you and figure out how to like engineer the ways to grab the different objectives is just really fun. And I've played so many of these games where it's like on a razor's edge on whether you're going to get out in time.
Right.
They're about to take out your last hit point. You're about to like run out the door. They're trying to block this door. You run over here and like get out. It's just been a blast to play, and I really enjoy all the different powers and different things in this game. I just really enjoy asymmetrical powers and special powers in games, and this just has that in spades and does a really great job with the whole hidden movement aspect. So that's why Spectre Ops is my number 6.
This is why you're so annoyed at my look back that's going on.
Which one do you like better? You like being the hidden one better or the hunter?
I actually really enjoy both. I enjoy both
At the
sides.
same time?
I don't play both at the same time.
Solo game.
I don't know.
I like being hunted, but I like being a hider.
I probably like being the agent better, but I have no
I don't know
problem.
which one that is. The agent
The
is
one who's hiding and trying to get in there.
Okay, so you like that?
I do. I like trying to walk right in front of someone's nose. I love trying that.
I only played this, I think, a couple of times, but I like the searching more than I like the hiding.
I really like the searching too. It's
Well, the
really fun to math
when
that
you're
out.
hiding, though.
Oh,
you're just
I
like,
know, yeah.
the people talk about it. They'll be like, I think he's right there, and they point right where you're at, and
Yeah,
you're sitting
yeah,
there
yeah.
like,
And I love in
That's
this
great.
game how you can math it out. You're like, they moved 4 spaces, probably. They're probably here, here, or here. They probably wouldn't go there, but maybe you should walk this way. And they walk this way and they look and they're not there. So you're like, I know they're here. I'm walking there.
I'm
You
like,
know,
hey,
it's
Roy,
so
I wish I was playing someone else.
It's so good
gonna
to
get
like
ya.
be able to do the hunter thing and math it out. I've had so much fun with both sides of this game, and that's why it's so high on my list. I really enjoy this game, Spectre Ops.
Nice, nice. All right, my number 6 is a game when I first saw it, when I first heard about it, was not expecting it would be a 10 out of 10 for me. You know, I was not expecting this game to blow my mind the way it has, but I just absolutely enjoy the combination of mechanisms in it and the central thing. It's a game called Deus.
Oh, wow.
Deus has one main concept that I think is what really, when I first played it, I thought this is absolutely brilliant. I want to do this forever.
Yeah.
And that's the idea of when you build a card in one of several columns, you don't cover the old one, you simply place that one above the old ones, and then you trigger the powers on that one and the older ones in succession. That is so neat because the game very organically lets you do more the later on in the game it is. Much like Wingspan.
Yeah,
Right?
it's true.
I just love that. And I love that there are synergies there. You know, this one card lets me get 4 coal, whatever they are, wood. And then this one lets me sell wood at 3 coins apiece. Fantastic. I want to build these right next to each other. So I can make wood, sell it immediately for a whole bunch of gold. And yes, you're claiming areas on the board. You are attacking barbarians, all sorts of stuff. There was an expansion for this also that gave you an entirely new deck of cards that you could choose to use in its entirety or take out, you know, the sailors from the one deck, the original deck, and just put in all the sailing cards from the
have
new
you
deck.
ever mixed them? Or
Oh,
have you-
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you can. I don't think I've ever played the entire new deck by itself, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, you can just take one color or several or whatever. I think it's a great expansion. That's pretty much all they did with the expansion.
You know, when we first saw this game, they were demoing it at a Gen Con. I almost didn't play it
Really?
because I thought it looked like they rated some other games for their pieces
Sure.
and threw them on the board. I was like, oh yeah, there's your extra Catan pieces. And then I was like, oh, it's just a prototype. And no, it was not.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know.
I like the way this game looks. That's
Oh, really?
again.
You give all these other games garbage, and this one looks good suddenly?
It looks good to me. Yeah, I like the way this game looks.
That's what anyone says about their ugly kid.
Well, you know, it looks good to me.
All I hear
Well,
is
you
this
gotta
game
pick
is
on poor
one better
little-
than Pandemic.
Why you got to
Is all
pick on poor little Deus?
This is a kind of a hidden gem. I mean, it never really took
I
off
don't
the way
know,
I
yeah.
expected it to. And I mean, is it still going? I mean, I don't know. I like the game quite a bit.
I feel that way about a lot of these Pearl games, though, right?
Yeah, it's true. They do
Most
have,
of their games don't get a lot of love.
It's also true. They also
Black
do,
Angel is the newest one.
Yeah.
How much buzz is that getting? It's brand new. It's
Which
big.
is
it's
weird. I
epic.
thought it would be bigger. This one is fantastic. Z
It is good.
Z is correct here.
Did you guess it? That it would be on my list?
I am 5 for 5 with you right
Oh,
now.
are you kidding me?
What about
am
me?
fine.
What about me, Tom?
I have 3 of yours.
And me?
Shut up. Bro.
Yeah, that's your objective. Don't let him have an inch.
Right. That's right.
Alrighty. The People's Choice number 6 was number 5 last year, and 3 the year before that, and 4 the year before that. So it's slowly sliding down, and that's because it's a one and done game, and it's not getting played as much. Legacy, it's Pandemic.
Yeah.
Legacy Season 1. Sure, it's I think the number 2 game on Board Game Geek.
Right.
When you play it, it is amazing. But probably like myself and Z, as you get farther from that experience and someone asks you what your favorite games are, you may not put it on, while the year you play it,
Right.
it's going like number 1.
Yeah.
So I suspect we'll see this slide more, not because it's bad, but because our experiences with it start to fade as time
Sure.
goes by. Still, it's pretty high. number
yeah.
number
I would
6,
say so.
Pandemic
Oh, it's-
Legacy.
It's an absolutely brilliant piece of design.
Number 5.
Longest number 5 ever. My number 5 is brand new to the list.
What?
Although
Switch us to 3D.
I believe it's because the last time I did this list was September 2018, and I had played it, I think, just before then. It instantly shot to my top, and it's been there since. And that is Chronicles of Crime.
Oh.
I love this game. I know there's people out there who say, "Oh, it's a video game with cards." You know, maybe. I don't care. This is, for me, I don't know why anybody would play Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective over this. This is just unbelievable. You mentioned Detective, which I think is fine. I really like Detective City of Angels a lot. But this, for me, this is like playing through an episode of, Law and Order, NCIS, or any of those things. You're playing through. It's dynamic. They use the app in such a good way. I don't know what it is. And then the first expansion, the Noir one, totally changed the game up. And so did the second one. Whatever it was
Welcome
called.
to Redview.
The Archie one, Redview. I did not like that one as much as the first expansion, but it shows that this system has some really good breathing room. Man, this is just so much fun. Now, the scenarios in it are one and done. You can go through and play them, but there's a lot of scenarios for it.
How many are in there in the core box?
Well, you mean in the when you download it, there's some that you can pay for and add.
Okay,
I
like
wanna
if
say
I
there's
buy
like
this game.
6, I think 5 or 6 that you can go through, and then you pay a few more dollars to get a couple more.
Okay.
Then I think if you go online, fans can make their own scenarios, so it's virtually unlimited.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to make one ourselves actually, with our characters.
Say what? How do we get access to that, Tom?
Well, everyone has access to it, but if you want the cards that are in it, go to the DicetowerKickstarter.com. DicetowerKickstarter.com.
Huh.
But man, I tell you what, though,
Did you
this
say DicetowerKickstarter.com?
yes, this knife can cut through anything.
Ah! I can't pour water.
But this, I just love this game. I know that, again, I know it's divisive, but I also know this game's selling really well.
Oh yeah, no, this is super
It's very, very
cool.
popular. Of all the app games, I think this one does it the best. And this is one of the games where you cannot play without the app.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned Lord of the Rings, very close.
I really want to play this. I actually downloaded the app for this, preparing for the cruise. So I'm like, I'm gonna play it on the
fun,
cruise. Let's
dude.
do
This
this.
It's one of those games that when you play for the first time, which happened to me, I think it happens to most people, you're like, how does this work? This is so cool.
I haven't played it.
It's
I
that
really
kind of
want to.
feeling like, they can do this?
Right, because you go to a location and then they'll say, oh, this person's at that location. You pull their card out and you can talk to them. Then you go somewhere else, you're like, that person actually knew something. You go back and they're gone. Or they're murdered. And you're like, oh, I should have talked to them more when I had a
No,
chance.
just the whole asking people questions thing is so cool.
I'm looking forward to trying it.
So, Chronicles of Crime, my number 5.
My number 5 is one that
Here
I
it is.
believe that I
Tom
talked
got this
about.
one.
I believe that I talked about on the People's Choice list, and I went into some detail about it there because obviously I like the game quite a bit. It's my number 5. This is a game created by one person and one person alone. They did the art, they did the design, they did everything.
This ain't looking
This
good.
is Near and Far.
Man, this is a stupid list ever.
Near and Far took what Above and Below promised and delivered it. Above and Below was a proof of concept and it was cute. Near and Far is a fully fledged, fully developed design that is able to pull off this really tricky thing, which is to inject storytelling enough that you feel like there is an actual story, but it doesn't get in the way of the game, and the game doesn't get in the way of the story. That is such a hard balance to walk. Oftentimes I feel like we talked about it in Time Stories where I felt like the game got in the way of the story. Well, I don't feel that way here. I mean, it's got some really nice, innovative things, which the book, it may be not the first time it did it. I think the book as maps works really well here.
Yeah.
I like the modularity of the game, that you can play one-off scenarios, that you can play a full-fledged campaign, that you can play arcade mode, that you can play with just one character and follow just that one character's storyline. It's really, really adaptive. It's quick. Which I think is also hard to pull off in these types of games. I just think that Ryan Lockett is kind of singular, not only in that he does all of these things, but he builds worlds that only feel like his worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A Ryan Lockett game feels like a Ryan Lockett game and not like anybody else's, and that means a lot
The fact
to
that
me.
it looks like his art style also helps that, of
it
course.
does, and he has
It's a whole package deal.
Right,
You know, if
right.
they had different artwork, it might be a
True.
little harder to tell that.
and
but,
that's a good point because
but I agree. I think you're right. I think they have a thumbprint.
yes, he makes
His
his own
thumbprint.
iconography, and so it's like if you play this and you play Islebound or you play, almost anything he's made, you're like, oh, I get a feeling I know what this is doing because
Yeah.
it's the same icons as in the other game. So
That is true.
Yeah,
That's
right?
true.
you feel like you've got a leg up anytime you open up a Ryan Lockett game. Like, oh, okay, I kind of see what this does.
Yeah.
Anyway, terrific
good
game.
pick.
Well, I'm so pumped about this.
Sleeping Gods,
Sleeping
man.
Gods.
yeah, I'm stoked about that too.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Should have backed that, I think. I'm a dummy.
I got one. We'll play
Wow. I got another list here.
Things I should have
Things you
backed
will
by
say
didn't.
during the top 10 list.
I'm a dummy? Was that one of them?
it. All right, my number 5, Near and Far. Roy.
All right, my number 5. Last episode, there was a guy in chat that every single time it came to me, he was like saying the name of this game over and over again. This is a space sandbox game. This is Zaya. Hopefully you're here to see that. But
That dude just lost his mind.
every
like-
single
He doesn't know-
number, every single number,
doesn't know
was
to
like
say for 1 through
Zaya,
4 now.
Zaya,
Right,
Zaya, Zaya, Zaya. Anyway, I really enjoy this game. Space sandbox. You basically start off with a ship, and it's got the whole polyomino things where you're building different components onto your ship. And this is one of the first games that had like the whole like putting different shapes on to make things happen in a game. I really enjoyed it. It is roll to move, but there's lots of ways to mitigate that. And this game is all about basically risk management and trying to figure out the opportunities and how to best like approach the game. You can do really dumb things like jump into the sun or
What?
jump through a star shield thing, but if you take the risk, you have to be able to take the damage.
Who would be so stupid as to fly to the sun?
I don't know. That's crazy. I normally explore or whatever, but it's definitely
First
a blast to
turn.
play. I've enjoyed. The expansion
Full
makes
speed
this
ahead.
game even better. Like there was a little bit of errors in it with the whole like if you had like a trade route that was right beside each other, then it could be kind of broken. The expansion fixes that and makes it so that each planet kind of like now you have to try to take the correct resources to the planets, and it adds cool little like one-piece mods that you can put on and upgrade everything. I just love the fact that like as you're playing out the game, you're upgrading your ship and making it cooler to be able to fulfill all sorts of different stuff. And this game is all about opportunity, like trying to jump on things when they're best. It's like, oh man, he ran through the asteroid field. He only has a little bit of hit points left. Let me go over there and finish him off to get the points for that.
I would not.
That sort of thing.
That is
Or it's
not
like,
okay.
oh
He's
man,
easily the
I'm
meanest
flying
player.
How about whenever we have to pick
Yes.
one example to explain whatever our games can do, his example is always quite violent.
Wrecking somebody.
I was like, oh, in this one you
the
can kill like
interactions
sheep,
game.
you know? Oh, in this game you can wake up early and do more. In this game you can shoot some fools. It's like, man, oh my goodness.
It's so fun, and I mean, you have the NPCs that are chasing you around all over the place. I know this game got a bad rap with some of you guys, but I have really enjoyed it. And,
most of us-
I really liked the 20 minutes I played this.
I'm just saying, I specifically said you could fly into the sun, and you were like, it's probably not going to happen.
I love that you can't
And
find
that's
the sun.
true,
Wait,
it
is that the
probably
sun?
shouldn't happen. But it did, and I flew right into it.
risk management.
It's like,
Risks,
the
risks,
first day on the
risks.
bridge of a starship, and you're like, where are we jumping today, sir? What are the odds something bad happens the first day?
Right.
Take her out.
I love it. Zaya's awesome. So.
All right.
It's a good game. It's just Z, not you.
All right, guys, my number 5 is a game that was on this chunk of top 10 on your list. And this is Arkham Horror, the card game.
Ooh, I was wondering how high this was going to make it.
Arkham
Yeah,
Horror,
I keep
the
saying this is going to
card
get to your
game.
number 1, but it never does.
It
have
is
enough chance to play
so
it.
good. It is everything Roy said. The story, you kind of nailed it there. You hit the nail on the head. It feels like a board game in many ways, and it's just more compelling than a lot of board games, with a richer story, interesting ways to modify the experience to fit you. You know, it's very rich. It can be long. It can be a little long, and it is dense, so it's easy to miss little tiny moments. Sometimes that does bother me in many games, but in this one, I find everything else so compelling that it just doesn't bother me as much. I mean, it still bothers me, but I deal with it. Yeah, I'm not going to say too much more about it because we've talked about it a lot. Arkham Horror, the card game, is it's a master stroke of design.
Also, Z has everything for it.
I think I do, just about.
I don't think it's going anywhere. I think they're going to continue supporting this.
Yeah, I think it's selling well, so there's no reason for them to stop unless they run out of ideas, and I don't see that happening.
Could this be an app?
Like just an app?
Yeah.
I suppose.
I mean, anything could just be an app. if you
Sure,
put enough
okay, let me
development into
rephrase.
it.
I realize that, but could this be an app that, if it was really well done, that you could play over the board game, the card game? The game that's actually a board game.
I'm
would take a
assuming
lot
so.
of
I
work.
mean, sure.
Well, I only asked it because
Have they made an app version of this, is what you're saying?
no, I don't think they have.
No,
I think
I don't think
they-
they're
Oh, is that what
Elder
you're
Sign
asking?
messages.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they made an app version of this, if then I might go back to it. I won't
Yeah.
probably go back to the
Oh,
card
I
game.
see, I see.
They made an app version of the Lord of the Rings one.
I know,
And you know
well.
what happened to the team in that.
I do.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little too dense for me to get that or play that.
Yeah,
I
they,
think
they did a great Elder Sign app, and I mean, I still play the actual physical game, but
Elder Sign is so much simpler than this.
it is.
so, you know?
It sure is. Yeah.
All right, well, you wanted your 5-way crossover. You got it. People's Choice number 5, Blood Rage.
Yeah.
What?
It was
That's
4
right.
last year, 4 the year before that, 9 the year before that. So it's never left the top 10, and if you try to make it leave the top 10, it will decapitate you and take you to Valhalla.
I got
right.
too close with 9. I was like, no, it jumped back to 5.
It'll be like, I'm Euro-y. Ah!
This is a Euro
Yeah.
game, one of the better Euro
Straight
games
up
out
Euro.
there.
Maybe next year we could use a different shot picture for each person.
That's a good point. Who put that thing together?
I don't know, some intern. All right, so number 5 for
talking
people
about?
is
I
Blood
put
Rage.
the pictures together.
Oh,
Number 4.
All right, my number 4 was number 3 last year and number 1 the year before that. So still in my top 10, and that is Gloomhaven. The Gloomhaven shock of 2017.
Yeah.
I'm really confused now, buddy. What
You
is
thought it
going
moved back
on?
up to number 1?
I figured, well, when you said that Project Elite was a piece of garbage now, I figured, okay, it's Gloomhaven again. Gloomhaven's 4?
Well, that's, yeah.
4 is good.
Barely
4 is
playable.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I just had Arkham at 5. You think I play Arkham? No, a 5 is like, yeah, thanks for showing up.
Well, I mean, until Frosthaven comes out.
Frosthaven.
Actually, I don't think Frosthaven's coming out in 2020, is it?
No.
It's being kickstarted next
Right.
month.
Right.
Yeah, I doubt
Whenever
it.
the next Avatar movie comes out, that's when Frosthaven comes out. 2024.
No,
This
but,
is clearly a Euro, yeah?
No, but
This isn't a Euro?
I don't know what it is. It's like, it's
Nobody does.
definitely not a roll dice and
No.
kill stuff the game, but at the same time,
It's a hybrid. I like going back to hybrids.
I don't even know what. It's like a puzzly game because
Yeah,
you're
it's a puzzle
taking
game.
these cards.
It's like Factory Funner.
Gloomhavener.
It's a dungeon crawl.
Gloomhavener. It's a dungeon crawl. I mean, the thing is, it's interesting. I like this a lot, but if you ask me to list flaws about my favorite games, some of them I'd be like, I don't know, Gloomhaven, I'd be like, oh yeah, no problem.
Right.
It's really big. And outside
very
of combat,
grindy.
there's not a lot going on. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get whooped up in the game. And yet I still really like it.
I think that's.
and
I
it plays
honestly think.
really well, so I've been told. Solo.
Not that you would know
I
about
think
solo
it's,
any games.
To the point where I don't even want to play with other people
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
I just really like it. And before people ask, I have not played the computer game
haven't either.
version of this.
No.
There is Dice Tower scenarios of this in the Kickstarter.
Yes, but that is not. Yes, there is. I don't know. I just find the whole thing fascinating. And I'll tell you another thing I like about Gloomhaven. I really feel like they subvert it once again, just like Ryan Lockett did.
Yeah.
The typical fantasy tropes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The different races in here, even the characters themselves. You got this one guy, I'm like, oh, he's a knight. No, but he does this thing. That's not what knights do. Really different.
Right.
And there's a ton of variety between
ton of
this.
everything.
He does some really cool things with this, the way the elements work, and that whole deck of modifiers, which is starting to pop up in more games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a really good job of it in this game.
The fact that this is the one person's vision to me is what's most impressive. I mean, that's ridiculous to me. I mean,
Yeah,
of course
normally
he
this
had
would be like a whole team of
right.
people.
I'm
making
sure he's
something
had
like this.
help, and I'm sure that Isaac would say that he's had a lot of development help, or even just playtesting. But this is really one person's baby here. That's ridiculous. The amount of stuff that's in that box.
Right.
Anyway, my number 3, very high on my list,
4.
Gloomhaven. 4. Still very high.
Is it also 3?
It's so big.
It's big
took
enough.
up 2 spots.
My number 4, Gloom.
4 is Gloom. 5.
My number
3 is
5,
Heaven.
number 3, Haven.
Those are actually. There's actually a
Oh,
game
there's
called
a Gloom,
yeah.
and
there's no
definitely is a
Haven.
Haven. Yeah,
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Oh,
there's a
Ryan
little
Lockett
Haven.
game called Haven. You're
Yeah,
right.
Al Siebert.
If you play
yeah.
them in a row, suddenly they just start morphing.
Those games couldn't be more different than this game.
No.
Covers you in stickers.
More than each other. My number 4 is a ostentatious, ridiculous, over the top, overproduced, maybe not even balanced. I don't care.
Are you kidding me? 4?
It's balanced. Ish. Heroes of Land,
Oh.
Air, and Sea.
Wait, your name's Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not expect to like this game, honestly, at all. Certainly not as much as I did. I didn't kickstart it. I wasn't in on it early.
I haven't played it.
I've heard it's really good. No. I got it at Origins maybe 2 years ago. And I just have been knocked out by it. I've played it a lot of times over the last couple of years. I've played all the base factions. I've played the factions in the first expansion. It's just so ridiculous and silly and fun and over the top, and it doesn't take itself very seriously. I think it is kind of pulpy. I'm just trying to think of words to describe the experience that I
I
have.
feel like it takes itself seriously.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. It's silly. I mean, it's silly to me. You've got these big, gigantic ships that you're flying around. You've got a Kraken in the middle of the board. I just don't think that it does take itself all that seriously. It's a 4X game, but it's a 4X game where those 4 methods of winning, to me, it's so much less obtuse than in some of those other games I've played. I haven't played a lot of 4X games, but a lot of times I'm like, okay, well, you have to explore, but what does it take to explore? And that seems really confusing to me. In this one, the 4 ways you win are so easily definable at the beginning of the game, and you usually, by the end of the first couple of turns, know what you're more likely to be able to pull off. I really, this game speaks to me, and I didn't expect it to. I think it's really smart the way that you have to be engaged on everyone's turn, because you can use a follow oftentimes. It's not short, but I think it's shorter than a lot of these types of games. The downside for me is that the setup and teardown is a beast, and that usually is a kiss of death. But if I'm willing to give time to a game, oftentimes this is going to be the one I go to, because I just love the way it looks. I love the way it feels while we're playing it, and I love the feeling when we're done, whether I've won or lost, usually lost.
Here's what I feel, is that I got a lot of garbage from a lot of people, because every time I reviewed a Tiny Epic game, I said, tired of this Tiny Epic stuff, and people said, stop mentioning that. But I learned if you mention it a lot, eventually the company will be like, fine, here's a game.
And it's like 8 times large.
Right. So if I keep bugging Chris Handy about his little pack of gum, maybe I'll be like, here, who knows? Anything could happen.
It could happen.
But they did go back to Tiny Epic. I would like if they made more
games.
of these.
But we're going to have Closet O stuff.
No, this is not on my list, but I do think quite highly of this game.
It's on no one else's list, I think.
I really need to play this game more, honestly.
He's trying to look! Teacher!
All right, go. What do you got?
Oh, it's me. Hey, this is my highest rated Lovecraftian game. This is
More
a game
than
that is
art. You
app-driven.
do like this more.
I
No, that's
love
true.
Mansions of Madness Second
First
Edition.
Wait a minute, I am super confused. I know you talked about this already. It must have been during the People's Choice.
Probably.
I have everything for this game. This is like my favorite cooperative game. I really enjoy the puzzles in this game and the working together in this game and the story in this game as you're trying to figure things out in this mansion, and it like puts out this story. You're not really quite sure what your objective is when you even go into the game, and you're trying to explore things, but you don't have time to explore everything because bad things start happening and monsters are popping up. You have to take out the bad guys and explore the mansion. And like, I love the way that they use like simple app puzzles, but they're actually part of the game. Sometimes you're playing Mastermind, sometimes you're stacking blocks, or you're rotating a thing, or turning these little like electrical currents and all this different stuff.
Stabbing.
And sometimes there's stabbing as well. I really love that there's all sorts of investigators with different powers, and you can mix it up and play all sorts of different stuff.
Is there a scenario where somebody can go bad in this?
Yes, I mean, even just in the base game, like the insanity, basically when you run out of basically like mental stamina, like your willpower, you get an insanity card. Depending on the player count, depends on which insanity cards are actually in the game. And if you flip it over, you could get one that could turn you against everybody else.
Do you like when that happens to you?
It is weird, and there's some of them that can make it kind of seem like you're insane.
He didn't answer the question.
I do like it. It doesn't bother me. It's definitely very interesting. Because you're never quite sure. Then it's like, oh, they got an insanity card. They could 100% be on our team. Especially, there's tons of insanity cards in the game. I don't know what they all do because I purposely don't look at them when I get a new pack, and I just put them in there with the rest.
I agree on that. I try to do that with all Lovecraftian games. If you get new stuff, don't look at it.
Yeah, you just put it in there,
no,
and it's like now, like every sentence you're starting with the like saying no at the beginning of it. So I asked you a question.
There's definitely some really stupid ones
There's
I
some
pulled
weird
out of
ones
my
in
copy.
there. There's some that's like, oh,
I
now
hate that. I'm sorry.
you can't
Don't
talk.
give me dumb stuff.
Or now, like, you can't do the same action twice, and they're like, you just run here and then you run there and then we'll be good. And you're like, nah, I can't do that. Why can't you do that? Because this back of this card says you can. But everybody else is like, we need to do this to finish the mission. Did your insanity make you against us now? It's just the whole, it puts it into question, which makes it sort of interesting. There is a scenario where there's somebody who's bad from the beginning, and I played that once on the cruise. That's the one that's on a ship, and there's some fish people or whatever. You don't know who's the fish people. But it's super interesting. I like that this game is completely different too. This is very much like what I said in the Journeys in Middle Earth. There are some scenarios that are very much not combat,
Right.
not even as much puzzles. It's just going around and asking people questions, and like it's like a murder mystery at a dinner, and you're asking people questions. What happened here? What happened there? Oh no, the lights went out. How do we turn the lights back on?
Right.
It's like all sorts of interesting stuff, and there's so many different ways that they've proven that this system can do interesting stuff, just like the Arkham Horror LCG. But I really love the tactile feel of like the app and the way it just is thrown out on the board so quickly. Like you start
Very
with one tile,
immersive. It's
you put your
like the
stuff on there.
music and the app. It's super immersive, you know. You don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting to fall headfirst into this world.
And this is not even a game you have to do much teaching. Like I've taught
That's
my
true.
wife
Yeah.
and other people who aren't super big into gaming. You're just kind of like, you get 2 actions, you can do these actions. We're starting the game. You know?
And the app just runs you through it.
Right.
Yeah, so you can basically just jump into the game immediately with barely having to teach people what to do at all, and it's just fun, and you work together to solve these problems. So my number 4 is Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, because I would never put it at the same item as another game that's very similar.
You've already done that on this very top 10.
Ooh, you got told, Rex.
Yeah, but those were the same mechanics. Come on.
All right. Where am I at here? My number 4 is
I
a
could tell you.
game. My number 4 is a game that Mike DeLisio thinks I put on my list, but I haven't yet. 5 Tribes.
You hadn't put this on your list.
Nope.
If he was smart, he would put it at number 5, but you waited to 4 just to be
I
weird.
knew you liked it. I must have thought you had said
I
it
do
already.
like it. I
Wow.
think you said everything I
4
wanted to
tribes.
say. So,
Wow.
But actually, if you had the expansion, it's 6 tribes.
Yeah.
that's right. That's true. Yeah, it was always weird because it's 5 tribes. It plays 4. Then eventually they added an extra player or 2, but also an extra tribe. It was, you know, the whole name is bizarre. Whatever. The game is brilliant. Everything you said was right on point. I'm not gonna mention pretty much anything else here. If you enjoy puzzly games whatsoever, and you want one that's crunchy, tactical is a good way to describe it. 5 Tribes. My number 4 game of all time.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, People's Choice number 4. Wait. Huh, cool. Was number 7 last year, number 47 the year before that, and they agree with me to the extent of the same number.
No.
Also Gloomhaven.
Really?
That's right.
How's that possible?
Because
I
You
can't
looked
believe
ahead.
this was
You
as
looked
low
ahead.
as 47.
called the voice of the people, actually thinks he's the voice of the people, but who matches them more than everyone else? Probably Roy, but still. All right, anyway, Gloomhaven.
I match the
very
voice of the cool
popular.
people.
This is number 1 on Board Game Geek. Next year, the votes will be split between this and Frost Tape. That won't happen, I don't think.
Not coming out next year. It's coming out 2024.
Yeah, but you know people will rate it anyway. Have
Well,
you
of
not
course.
been on the internet?
But they
It's being
will
rated
rate it
now.
a 10 or a 1.
And then they'll argue about it.
Yet, to me, it's amazing that this did hit number 1 because of the complexity of the game. This is no simple game to get into.
sure.
No, it's not.
I heard from, what was I talking? I was talking to somebody who was like, just discovered gaming, and they had played a couple of things like Azul or something. They're like, oh, this whole world of gaming is really cool. Somebody mentioned, or somehow they found BGG, so they went to a local game store and they were picking up Azul because they had played someone's copy, and so they went on BGG and bought Azul, Ticket to Ride, I think, and Gloomhaven because it was number 1. And I'm like, oh lordy, no,
Wow.
you know,
Yeah.
you are about to scare yourself out of this hobby.
Right.
They really need like
think
a
it's a
start
weird-
here button on Board Game Geek.
I
that
do-
will just
I-
take you to.
I do think it's a weird
Game's good
number
for that.
1 because it's just so divisive. I think.
I think if you don't like it, you don't play it.
Yeah.
Well, which by its very nature, if you, it tells you what it's going to be right up front.
Right, like no one's going to walk in this and go, this is a dungeon crawl? I mean,
You
it's
need
kind of...
3
Yeah.
people to carry the box. That should
I
be
don't
your
know.
first
I don't know. I
clue.
do wonder.
I could do with 2. All right, let's move on to number 3.
Number 3.
All right, my number 3 entered the list last year at number 7, has moved up to number 3. And this is the game that when I play it, time ceases to exist. I played this game for 4 or 5 hours straight.
Time stories.
No, that would be funny. Time Stories, unfortunately, has fallen off the top 100. But anyway, I played this game for 4 or 5 hours straight, look up and think, wow, time went by that fast.
Seventh continent.
That is correct. I love this game, and I have not yet fully delved into everything in it, especially with the expansion. There's still more story. I'm still seeing new stuff. So until that happens, it will be in my, unlike the other Legacy games, it will stay up here for a while. And by the time I see everything, I'll probably have forgotten what. There's just so much in this world. The sense of exploration in this game is just unbelievable. And it's to the point where I've even gotten back to this place I've seen before, and I was like, have we been here? This place seems familiar. I like that because it's this neat. It's like real life in a sense that way, except that's not. I like the pulpy 1920s adventure theme, which when you first play it, everything seems fairly normal. And there's little things as time goes by, and then sometimes it goes way off the rails. And I'm super pumped about the sequel to this. You know, that's being kickstarted this year, I think. The 7th Citadel, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But man, do I like this game. Just like I said, I'm not normally someone says, you want to play a 6-hour game? I'm like, no. With 7th Continent, they're like, would you like to play a game? We'll just play for half hour. And then 6 hours later, you're like, oh. And I mean, that's happened multiple times where we just kept playing. You know, when we played this a few months ago, me, Melody, and someone else were playing it at the store, we played like a 3-hour game of it. And I was like,
I play it every day, once a week, honestly.
And we did.
Wow.
You know.
Every day, once a week. That's how I play.
Just super fun. Also, we just hit 4,000 viewers.
Woo! That's right. Yeah, people.
You need a new sound effect.
My soundboard is
need an
defective.
air
My
horn.
number 4, Gloomhaven. No, not my number 3. Before was Gloomhaven. My number 3, 7th Continent.
Yep, you're starting to fall apart.
My number 3 is
You've gotten one.
Just
yet.
one. That's all, man.
not only my 3rd favorite game. This is by far and not even close my biggest surprise of all time ever since I've been a gamer. A game that I was actively avoiding playing. I had zero interest in playing, and I got talked into it because a friend wanted to play it at the full 5-player count, and I was like, I'm going to be a good friend, and I'm going to sit down and play this game that looks like a horrible math puzzle filled with player screens that literally have the times tables on the back of them and nothing else. This is Smartphone Inc.
Well, I approve of this, but also
Why were you so opposed?
that does crack me up a bit that there's timetables
Yeah,
included in
the
this
player
game.
screen is literally the times tables. That's it.
It's in case you don't know how to do 7 times 6.
But it's very simple mathematics. Because
okay.
trust me, if there was complex mathematics, I'd be out.
Right, okay.
This game is just I don't know why I love it so much. I just know that I do. I think that there's some obvious things that appeal to me now that I've played it a ton of times. I think that it's really clever the way you select your actions for the round, because you do all of your planning for the whole round at the beginning behind your little times tables things there. I like how you're setting, basically what you're doing is you're trying to sell smartphones around the world. And when I looked at this board and I thought, oh my gosh, I want nothing to do with this game. And then by the middle of the first round, I was completely enamored with it. I love how you're really doing.
I'm disappointed. You could have watched some reviews. I'm just saying.
No, I got in. I got in on it pretty early, but I don't know if I'd seen your review or not. I love how every round has a very distinct order. You're going to be doing these, was it 7 things?
Oh, this game is so easy to teach.
It's so easy. It's
So easy
not
to
only is it
teach,
so
really?
easy to teach, it's my favorite game to teach, period. Because I love how people sit down and they think they're going to get one experience, and then they get a completely different experience, and it's over in an hour. It's super quick. It's basically, you have to figure out, what am I going to be selling these phones for? How many am I going to be producing? You know, you can sell it for really cheap. You can try to sell your phones really cheap, and you're going to be first in turn order probably, but you're not getting as much. You might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you always want to put your phones at 8 because you're going to be making 5 more than the person at 3? Well, you may not be able to sell any of those phones because the people before you got first shot at selling to those customers, and now you got nothing left. You've got a bunch of $8 phones that now you get 0 points. So
Got it.
you talked about flaws in games you love. There are some significant flaws to this game, even though it's my number 3 game of all time. Never play it at 2. Avoid highly playing it at 3. 4 is good. 5 is
it's
amazing.
fine at 3. I played it with 3.
It's okay at 3. It's really good at 4, and it's amazing at 5. At 5, it's my number 3 game of all time.
Definitely
What number is it
very
at
tight.
4 players? What
At
number
4
would
player,
it
it
be?
would still be in my top 20 probably.
At 2 players.
At 2 players, don't even bother.
136.
I just don't think you're getting you're not getting
Are you
what
not
makes
understanding this? How this works here?
you're not getting what makes the game so good at 2 is really
I'm not
what it's
getting
about.
it. No.
You've not played this
I
one.
venture to say you are exactly like I was. You're
I'm not skeptic about this. I'll play it.
I was
Just-
once like you.
No, I was.
I would
was
play
skeptical.
this. This looks fine. I love the look of the game. I
Yeah.
just haven't played it because I haven't played it.
It's so smart. It is.
Nobody wants to share this with me.
Cruise. It's
You
in
know,
the library.
okay,
right?
literally at this point, the number of games we all said we're
Write
playing
them
the
down.
cruise
Yeah, yeah.
is
Yeah.
more than we have
You
time.
might have to spill over into Dice Tower West.
Yeah, we're
true.
doing it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
happening.
I do have a copy.
People come, you want to play a game? Excuse me.
I'm scheduled through the next 5 days and at the port when I get off.
That's right. I can teach you outside of the cruise. I've got a copy and I kickstarted it. That's how much I like it. So, Smartphone Inc., my number 3.
Nice.
All right, my number 3 is once again a game that is set in my
Space,
favorite
yeah, it's
theme
space
of all
game
time.
or
It's not
fantasy or
space.
some sort of elf.
It's definitely elves. This is War of the Ring. I know I talked about this when it was on People's Choice, but I really enjoy War of the Ring. This is my favorite 2-player game of all time. I love playing this head-to-head epic game. One side's the Fellowship, the other side is the Shadow. The Shadow is trying to take over all the strongholds from the Fellowship, creeping out of Mordor and building up all sorts of Uruk-hai and stuff as Saruman
Very
taking
intense.
over
Scared
everything.
me a little bit.
And
Very
then
intense.
you're just like meager hobbits and meager free people trying to figure out a way to make it down to the down to Mordor and
I
throw
want
the
to
ring
be
in.
the shadow people. Yeah, yeah.
It is a very
the hobbits.
asymmetrical game. It feels very different depending on the side you're on. I love.
Wear the ring.
You basically have action dice. You roll to see what actions you're allowed to take during your turn. You go back and forth doing these actions. There's all sorts of cards you play that are very story driven, based off of like things that happen in the books. Whether Inns
Oh,
are
there's
attacking
books. Is it based on a book?
Inns are attacking Isengard, or,
If you
or
hate them,
like
it's okay.
orcs are doing crazy stuff, or Aragorn's doing stuff. There's Tom Bombadil cards. There's all sorts of stuff that just feels like Lord of the Rings, and people call this Lord of the Rings in a box. I've never played the like giant fancy version that comes in a wooden box or has all the painted miniatures, but I love even just the regular second edition of this game. Is my number 3. I really enjoy War of the Ring.
One of these days, I think that you should just remove all the contents of the game in that box, put a copy of Lord of the Rings in the
book,
box.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lord of the Rings in a box.
I love it. Playing this game feels like going
Yes,
home, which is
yes.
reading the book. I've read the books multiple times. I've
Yeah.
watched the movies an immense amount of times.
Movies
I
are
just love
better than the
this.
books.
I like
Whoa.
both. I like both.
Hot take.
I really enjoy
I'm not the
both.
only person who
the
thinks
movies,
that, actually. It's
the
not that
movies were
hot.
really good implementations of the
Yeah,
books,
they were.
so I enjoy Lord of the Rings, and I know
Tom
there's a lot of people out
Bombadil
there
is
that
not
do.
in the movie, though, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
He's
Tom
my
was kinda
favorite
silly.
character.
Honestly, I'm
Tom?
surprised. I'm surprised
Of
how
all-
much you don't like Tom Bombadil when you like almost are Tom Bombadil with your fancy, bright colored clothes and hats and shoes. It's like you don't like Tom Bombadil because you look at it and it's like looking in a mirror.
It's
you
too
know?
real.
He's calling you
I just said I
garish.
didn't like him. I
got
just said
called
it would,
out.
I just said it wouldn't make sense in the movie setting.
You could do it.
It's like an interlude that doesn't make any sense. They're kind of like they
It's
go
real
see him,
weird.
and then they leave, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the story, really.
Yeah, but I like the mystery that's there. Because even the rest of the people are just like, oh man, we're getting into like Lord of the Rings talk. I was fighting with people
Really,
online
shut
about
up,
that.
nerds.
I could talk about Lord of the Rings all day. I really enjoy it. And War of the Ring is great. If you like Lord of the Rings and want a epic 4-hour 2-player game, play this.
This is
one.
in print.
Yes.
Oh wow, now I'm getting
for
told
sure.
You got
that
Bombadil right there.
that the books are better than the movies.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
It's great.
Why are
It's
you
awesome.
picking?
Lord of the Rings is
Why
great.
are you
These people
poking
know.
the bear?
These people
Because
know.
I was getting too close to being the same as the voice people, and I can't do that. I'm not falling into that trap.
I
You can
see.
read the books
I'm my
quicker
own
than watching
man.
the movies. I
Thank
can tell you
you.
that.
All right, Tom. Bombadil. All right, right, my number 3 is a monstrosity of a game covered in tentacles and other worldly things.
Yeah.
I love it. My favorite. I just gotta check it. My favorite Eric Lang game is The Others.
Oh,
It's also my favorite supernatural, scary stuff
This is
kind of game.
super high
Yeah.
for
He
a
loves
game
this
outside
game.
of your comfort zone, really.
I love it.
It's so high up there.
It's so good. It is so engaging,
good.
interesting, absolutely fantastic game. I love the meeting point between absolute excess and monstrosities, like I said, and the feeling of grandeur. I love the meeting point between that and streamlined mechanisms and a fair amount of simplicity. This game, I love playing either side. I don't care. I love the simple story it puts forth for each scenario. There's not that many scenarios, but they're very replayable, so I don't worry about that. There's alternate maps also for many of them, so I think it's just fun. And I like the universe as sort of horror meets sci-fi. Those are my 2 favorite settings for basically anything, books and movies. And I like, not horror. I don't like horror movies, but sci-fi. So I like that a lot. I like that there is that sort of, they threw a bunch of weird stuff in a pot and mixed it up, and what came out is a flavor I like.
Yeah.
So
They did a surprisingly good job thematically connecting
Tentacles.
those sins with how they mess you up too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a neat idea. So
Actually worried me as all get out.
Yeah.
When I heard about that, I was like, I'm not going to play with the lusts and it all.
but
it wasn't like what I thought.
Right.
I was like, I don't know how that one's going to work.
Right.
Or gluttony. I'm just going to eat everything on the table.
Yeah, I really like this game, and I think it's balanced. I know a lot of people have a weird first experience where they feel like the sins is really overpowered, but I haven't found that to be.
So what
so
you're
I
saying
think it's a
is
very
get good.
good. Yeah, good.
All right, People's Choice number 3 is the last brand new entry. Actually, it's the first brand new entry since 22, which was Architects of the West Kingdom. This is Wingspan. That's a really high entry point for a game that came out, almost a year ago at this point. That's still pretty high, though. And for all those of you who think that no one likes birds, they
People
do.
like birds. I love chicken.
Is there even a chicken in the game?
Yeah. Cluckius Maximus.
Cluckius Maximus. Yeah, I think
What? How did that?
there's a turkey vulture, I think.
Anyhow, Wingspan.
I want a copy of this.
This will be People's
I might
Choice
buy a copy
number
of this.
1 next year.
Is this available?
Nah, maybe.
Yeah.
You think
No,
it'll be
wait.
number
Well,
one
let's
next
wait.
year?
Let's wait to see what number 1 is. But
That's
you
a
know
good
what? I
point.
think you might be correct. I could see this.
I can see
climbing up
this one
there.
moving up. Yeah, no, definitely very popular. It gets played all the time. It's easily one of the most blinged out games I've ever seen.
Already out of the
I
box.
very rarely see. No, I'm saying I
Yeah,
very
you
rarely see
can.
someone playing it and they haven't upgraded something.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's so nice already. Why
It
would they
is.
upgrade?
Because people upgrade the food pieces or
I
the
did.
The food is dice, right? No,
No.
the tokens.
yeah,
that's
or,
what I
or
upgraded.
the cubes. There's
I have
little cubes
actual
in the
worms
bird.
in mine.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps it in the fridge. Anyhow, Wingspan, your number 3.
Number 2.
My number 2 is the last game on my list.
That's it.
Really?
We're stopping.
Wow.
Hey, thanks.
Nice to see you, folks.
Come back next
Thanks
week.
for coming by.
Come back next week for number 1.
And it's the first one since number 20. Time's up. This is the first one that's been on the list for 15 years straight. Debuted at number 2, still number 2. And that is Cosmic Encounter. It's been number 2.
Not Cosmic Encounter back at the top. I'm confused.
Cosmic Encounter was 3 years in a row here now. It was number 1 7 years before that. I mean, at this point, we're talking semantics. Cosmic Encounter it's amazing. It's
pretty good.
I played
I
a
love this game.
really good game of it. I don't know. I think the game forces people to interact in ways that most social deduction games still can't pull off. Like in Resistance, you're a traitor or you're not a traitor, right? So you're going to play that way the whole game. In Cosmic, there's this shifting, whirling dynamic of alliances. I've played games with people where they're like, you and me together to the end. Halfway through, I don't know what happened there, but that divorce is very evident, you know.
Right. Yeah, there are
And-
shades between those two extremes. You're right. That's, that's a good call.
And in this game, lying straight to someone's face doesn't ever seem to be that big of a deal. I mean, it happens, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, ha ha, ha, it's funny.
Right.
And I've been accused before. People say, I can't believe you don't like Munchkin. And this game's like Munchkin. It's super chaotic, and it is super chaotic, but it's controllable.
Yeah.
I feel like I can rein in that stuff. I have that cosmic zap. I'm going to wait to the perfect time. I'm not going to play it every time you do something. It's not like a Take That game where every time you do something, I like cancel. I got to wait for that one perfect moment. And then you play the card zap and cancel it. And it just, the chains of stuff that happen in this game, it's so much fun. They don't need to make anything else for it. Don't get me wrong if they make another expansion, and I really suspect one's on the way. I really do. And yes, I know there's a Cosmic Encounter duel coming, but that's a different game, I'm sure. But there's so much content, so much fun. I have pulled back to the almost original stuff, like the only thing I use normally is the rewards deck that came in the new one. Those dials, I like them, but I very rarely play with them because I kind of like that go around the table and say who you're going to support. That tension of doing that is fun. So Cosmic Encounter, always good. I don't think this one will ever leave my top 100.
Right.
I love it.
My number 2 is based off of probably my favorite mechanism if I had to be kind of
Which is
dialed
worker
down.
placement.
Worker placement. This is my favorite worker placement game. It does such a nice little subtle twist on the worker placement mechanic where you place a worker to take an action, you remove a different worker from somewhere else to take another action. This is Raiders of the North Sea.
That's really
Well,
high
I
up.
thought your Highest Phillips game was Paladins.
No.
Oh, I got that
No.
vibe from what you said about that was
No,
your
it was.
favorite
I said
from
that
the
that
series.
was I said that was the heaviest of them. But this is now. I do need to put a little caveat here, and I think you made a similar one, which is that this is with the expansions. I mean, the base game itself is terrific. It's terrific.
The one expansion has tons
mead.
of beer.
Yeah,
Or mead, that's right.
that mead that it basically makes you stronger to go to battle.
Okay.
But then goes away.
It then goes away because you burn it off. I love everything about this game. I love the look. I love the simplicity of teach. I love the level of decision making versus the amount of time to play it.
Do you like to take that aspect?
That in this game is okay because it's not take that in the sense of I've built up a whole bunch of stuff and you're going to take it all away from me in one turn. No, you get in my way a little bit. You know what I mean? To me, the take that in this is no different than the take that when you go to a spot that someone else wants. You know what I mean? It really is not that big of a deal. And honestly, when you put the expansions in, there's not a lot of take that cards in those, and you're adding those into the mix anyway. So I think you even find those cards less. So it doesn't bother me in this game with this theme, with this amount of time that you're playing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just so slick and smooth and elegant, and that one little twist of putting a worker down, taking the action there, picking one up from somewhere else, just opens up a whole new decision space. I like that the different colored workers, you can't go here unless you've got those colored workers, but you can't get those right away. You build up to them. It's just such a good game. And I've taught it to, I can't even tell you how many people, and it always goes over well. I think that it is, while it's got this Viking theme, it's playful. It's not,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I think a lot of different types of gamers can be attracted to this. When I worked in a game store, I sold it to any demographic you can think of, new gamers, experienced gamers, older gamers, younger gamers, men, women, you name it. It was just a popular game across the board. I think it's a terrific, terrific design. Raiders of the North Sea is so good.
Nice. And Tom has finally got one, right? No? No,
You didn't
don't.
get this one. I've talked about this game a lot.
You have one bullet left.
Yeah, you got one shot.
You might want to
think-
just use it.
I already
think
know
he'll-
what his number one is.
I
so
think
it's
he'll
fine.
get my number one.
I
Really?
disagree.
Because I don't know what it is. I'm just guessing.
Okay. I'm
Roy,
going to
what
be
do you
very
got?
interested to hear what you think I had.
Awesome.
Yeah, right?
My number 2 was my number 1 game of all time for an extremely long time. I really enjoy
Checking it out if I know I'm right.
the 4X genre. I really, really enjoy space games. So this is Twilight Imperium 4th Edition.
Well, hang on. Let me cry.
I know. I love Twilight Imperium. I love the whole action selection and people following those actions when they're taken. The whole dynamic of this just gigantic game with asymmetrical alien races, and you're all trying to get to 10 victory points, and you're trying to race to get there. But there's politics. There's like taking over areas and getting resources from them to build up your technology and build up all your different stuff, and trying to ally with the people on different sides of you so you can trade resources and figure out like, oh man, hey, I'm not going to cross this line. If you don't cross this line, let's not go over here. The negotiation that has to happen in this game to make things work. And then someone creeps over where they said they weren't going to go. You're like, dude, don't worry, man, don't worry. I just need, don't worry, it's okay. And then you're like, jump, attack. It's fun. It's an awesome, interesting game. I love it.
People.
You keep digging yourself a deeper hole.
It is so much fun. It's happened to me just as much as it's happened to other people.
I play against him. Guys,
Hello, his examples are all about and then I snuck up on him and shivved him.
It's okay.
It's the best. It is literally the best. I love this
You
game.
know, after watching this, no one's going to trust you in any game they play.
Listen to my podcast at all.
No,
They
man,
already know.
no, I'm just
They
going
already
over here,
know.
man.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy this game so much. This is one of those games it's really hard to get to the table because the amount of time it takes to play. But if you know the game really well, or you play it with someone who knows it really well, they can really organize the game to like happen quickly, and I feel like it's worth getting to the table because there's like no downtime at all. Like you just keep going, and it's one of those games like you said with Seventh Continent. You look at the time, you're like, holy smokes!
No.
Did that much time go by?
100%, that's never happened. I've always looked at the time and was like, oh my word.
The problem is you haven't played it with me. I know how to run.
I'm not
this
playing
game.
with you now. I've heard what you do to people in this game.
If this game was an hour shorter, would you like it more?
Oh.
What do you mean?
That's a bold question. If you got the same experience in
Here's the thing.
11 hours instead
Here's the
of
thing,
12.
and I know this is going to be hard for you to hear, but Epic doesn't happen in a short amount of time. Epic
agree with
is
that. I agree
large.
with that.
Epic is gigantic. This is a game that you play and you never forget the games you
How
play.
long is the game
That
about?
I
What you
agree
say?
with.
I mean, it's normally like 5.5, 6 hours for the fourth
Lie.
edition.
It's normally like 8 hours.
You haven't played like a full game.
So what if
of
it was
fourth edition,
4
Thomas.
hours?
I've watched it at all kinds of conventions. I see every week or every month when we have that gaming guys come in and
I
play
don't
for
know how
8
much-
hours.
I don't know how much
They also
analysis
pause for
paralysis these
pizza.
people.
But
Oh.
still.
Oh well,
Pizza
that's
break.
several hours there.
I just feel like
They're making the pizzas. Hey!
actually I'm pretty sure
Space pizza.
it's hard to play a game of Twilight Imperium without having pizza in the middle of it. I'm pretty sure there's a phase, like when somebody
Yeah.
gets to 6 points,
Pizza phase.
everybody
I'm calling
stop,
the vote for pizza
have
phase.
Vote for
Anybody?
pizza phase.
That would be
should
hilarious
That should
thing to stick in the
literally
game.
be a card in the
Roll
game.
design it.
Roll for pepperoni. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, I love
You like
how
your
epic
epic
this
games,
is.
man. I know you
It's
do.
gigantic, and it's a thing that's going to leave a lasting impression if you play it. So, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Rug burn, as I'm trying to get away.
Let's do it.
All right. My number 2 is new to the list, and it is a reprint
Wow,
of something
number
I very
2.
much enjoy from before. This is a reprint / second edition. Atlantis Rising.
Oh.
Second edition.
That makes
Man,
a lot
I
of
need to
sense.
play this game.
Makes a lot of sense.
Huh?
I need to play this game.
This is so good. It's very
Wow.
engaging. It's a beautiful game for one thing, but I
Thought this
really
was his
like
number one.
I like the mechanically it's really interesting as well. I love that it is a worker placement game, so I think you'll like that, but it's a push your luck one.
Oh, I love that
in
too.
which after you put out the workers, you then see if after some disasters, they're still even there to take an action.
Okay.
So that's the main thing. You're collecting resources, spending them to construct components for a cosmic gate that will save your people before the island sinks into the ocean. It's a game I've always enjoyed. I like the original, design for this. I thought it was a cool setting, very well done. But yes, after playing the second edition a couple of times here, there is nothing from the first edition that was not improved in the second.
That I
Everything.
agree with.
I mean, every part that they touched, they improved. And so how could I not love it then?
Yeah.
I already really liked the original.
Thought it was
one.
your number one.
And
Better than
there's someone
Pandemic.
out there right now going, wait, this was from the top 10 of the year, but you had Empires of the North higher than this. True, and I changed my
Well,
mind.
also mine changed too. I'm not.
Yeah,
same
so-
thing happened here.
So it's
Mine
fine.
didn't change. I just put them in a line.
Yeah, I just really like this, and I think you will enjoy it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, People's Choice. Number 2 was number 2 last year, and number 6 the year before that, and it's probably gonna stay there for a while. And that is Terraforming Mars.
sure.
Very popular game.
I can't think of what one is,
Yeah,
because all the big hitters are gone.
You'll know when I say it. Anyway, Terraforming Mars.
Oh, yes, I know.
Extremely popular, lots of fun. We've already talked about this a lot. Engine building, lots of cool expansions.
Mike's the voice of the people.
That's my favorite. That's the People's Choice number 2.
Terraforming
Slipping.
Mars.
Number 2, Terraforming Mars.
And finally, number 1.
All right, when we do these lists, Z and me both did the same thing. We both sat down and didn't look at previous lists. That's why I have a new number 1 this year. But I had to sit there and say, when I'm at a convention or whatever, and people come to me and want to play a game, what is the game I'm almost always first interested in playing? And this is that game. Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
No, it's been on my. It was 9 last year. It was 3 the year before that. So it's not like it's brand new to the list.
The Harbor?
It is.
La Havre.
Look, I mean,
Wow.
I want to play it all the time. I really like this game. And yes, Euro's my number 1. Get off my. What do I have to do to get people off my back? I like it.
Tom. No.
This has been on my list now for
Change
1, 2,
it.
3, 4,
Change
5,
it.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's been on my list for 11
I
straight
want to
years.
point a few things out to you, okay? Your favorite game of all time is from Uwe Rosenberg.
I know.
Your favorite game of all time looks like that. Look at the cover. Look at that cover.
Yeah.
Show him the cover again, Kenny. Give him the cover big.
like
Look at that dog. Look at that man's face.
Wait, go back
That's
to the
your
game.
favorite game of all
Go back
time,
to the
Tom.
game, Kenny. I haven't seen this picture yet. Those are pretty neat little containers that hold all this stuff.
Oh, you
I like
sad
those.
animal.
Anyway, I like this game because I like worker placement games a lot, which this one is sort of, in a way. You only put out one worker. I like building this cool thing. I just think every time it's my turn in this game, I sit there and go, what cool thing will I do?
Grab
I never
some
sit there and
fish.
think, I mean, and Roy, well, that's actually not a bad idea. I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, this year I played all the Rosenberg games back to back. This one's my clear favorite.
You did?
Wow.
Not in a row, but I played,
Oh.
over the course of 2 days, I played all my favorites.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I like Feast for Odin, I like Caverna, but I mean, the other ones are not as high up, but this one, it's my number 1 for now. Maybe next year won't be, we'll see. But for now, it's the one game I want to play the most. That's right.
These
I was not
opinions-
expecting it. I was no.
Wow.
I forgot. I should have known because you hadn't said it yet. But it's disgusting. I can't pronounce it for one thing. Why isn't this called just the Harbor?
No, the city is called. Shut up, Z. We're not trolling again here. You almost got me in there.
It's pronounced La Havre, right?
I can see your email coming.
La Havre.
The Havre.
Mike, come on. Here's my last chance, Mike.
People are like
All right,
trolling.
so
They're so
Tom,
like mad.
my number 1 on my list, and therefore the best game
Give
of
us
all
some
time,
hints, man.
is a
Next.
game that was in your top 10. Is in your top 10. So that's going to narrow it down.
The Havre.
Do you have anything in there that's in your top 10?
Just one.
Then make it that one.
All right, I'm checking it.
Say it.
S and an
What
M
is it?
in the
Okay.
corner.
This is, man, this is just my game. Scythe.
Yeah, I got one!
All right.
Woo! I said I would get one.
Nice.
You got exactly one in the last possible moment.
Yeah. And I can't wait to hear
Well
what you thought my
done.
other ones were. But you talked about it, so I won't spend too much time. But man, I just love this game. I also played Fenris this year, like you did, and I don't think that anything that could have done would have taken it out. But all it did was make it even better.
Yeah.
I just love the efficiency puzzle. That's what this game is. That's what all of his games are, and to some extent. I am so bad at this game. I win maybe 30% of the time. The fact that I love
good.
it every time.
He plays two-player games.
So-
No. Well, solo, my win rate is much lower, actually. But against other people, I win probably about 30%. I just think that this game is, I don't know, it just gives me a rush every time I play it. Combat, but maybe not. Like you said, that random boards, which one am I going to get? Okay. And I do like playing it randomly, by the way. I don't like picking my faction. I'd rather just do a random because I like
Oh,
to.
I agree. I just take one.
Because that way, it's like, well, this is what I've got to do. I've got to make the best of this
Although-
combination.
The one new faction from the Rise of Fenris, the first new faction.
Yeah.
I love that faction
It's
so much.
so good.
Spoilers, bro.
It's
Come
so
on,
good.
man.
Oh, whatever. They're like on the board of the
Yeah,
first game.
yeah.
Stonemaier is never subtle about upcoming stuff.
No, not at all.
They're like,
Oh, those are in Fenris?
well, there's like 2 in the next one, but then there was still 2 more spots. in
Right.
it. There's still. Also, the box is really big.
It's huge.
It comes with a big box that obviously holds another faction.
Right.
I'm not sorry. If you haven't played it now, you don't
Yeah,
deserve
exactly.
it, you know,
But no,
whatever.
I mean, Scythe is just terrific.
What? Mumbling?
Just the base game is enough. The expansions are great.
6
although
o'clock yet?
the Wind Gambit's not necessary, but I just love this game.
Do you like the Wind Gambit? Should I get the Wind Gambit?
No. You
No,
don't
I
need
shouldn't?
It. Don't need it. The only
Should
thing
I get
do-
the Rise of the Fenrir
thing-
dog?
the
Oh
thing
my word, it's my favorite. One
It's
of my favorite
great.
expansions
It's
of all
great,
time.
but it's hard to say.
Should I
'cause
get the base game first?
Yes. The Wind Gambit does have those alternate.
Should I
winning.
play this?
Wind Gambit has alternate winning conditions. I like that. Get them all. Everything's good. Nothing you shouldn't get. Get them all.
No, okay.
Base game last.
You don't need the modular board.
No, that's true. You don't need those or the metal mechs.
Oh my word! Please
Wait,
don't
they
tell
have
people they have to get
metal
those.
mechs?
Oh, they have metal mechs.
Yeah, but you have to buy them singular.
Yeah, there's a set of 5.
If you buy
one
them all,
for each faction.
if you buy them all, you are
like-
paying a lot of money.
You can buy an actual mech for the amount of money.
All right, Roy, give us your.
Everybody
I'm
knows
just-
what this is, I think.
If it's not on his list, then he's a liar.
Yeah, we
I
know
guess
what
you're
this
right.
is.
My number 1 is the game that pushed my second game down to number 2, just because I love this game so much. This is a fantasy 4X game, and it's already been on Mike's list. This is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. I love the asymmetrical factions in this. Again, a huge thing for me. But I love how quick this game plays and how you're always following actions. I have played this game so many times this year.
Yeah.
Like basically at every Dice Tower event, people have come up to me, asked me how to play. I've enjoyed playing this. I have a
I feel like you go up to people and just drag them into games of it. I feel like
well,
that's what's
normally
actually
I set it
happening.
up, or normally people are like,
That's true.
I actually have a lot of people who ask me about this game because it's a big game and it's hard to teach. I have
Because they're tied in the
mastered.
chair.
You put it in the table, people want to play it.
People want to play this game, and as we're playing the game, people are like, "Holy smokes, what is this game?" I've literally been playing this game and playing my copy, and had people come up, look at it, and then go check it out at the library and be like, "Hey, when you're done with this game, can you teach it to us?" And I've gone and just taught people the game, and then they've ended up playing it from there. I really enjoyed this game. It's a blast. I
Still think this company should basically pay Roy for this at the rate he does it at conventions.
Yeah, you
I
are
just
a huge
enjoyed
ambassador
playing
for it.
I just
Yeah.
enjoy playing it so much, and it looks like this crazy epic game on the table. It's got 3D towers and 3D ships and stuff, and you have all these cool miniatures. It's very interesting, like you're trying to control areas and gather resources, but you're taking the resources you get to expand your empire and basically reach out and be like, oh, I gotta put a tower out over here. I played so many of these games where I've just gotten crushed because everybody's like, Roy knows the game, we're gonna jump on him and get him. But I've had other games where we've like
Or they
allied
listen
together.
to any top 10 you've ever done.
I know it's been a
Roy's about
blast
to
play.
stab all of us.
It's
Get
been a
'em.
blast. Win or lose, I love this game,
Yeah.
and I just love like how easy it is to play and how quick it is. I really enjoy playing this. 5 players with there's like an actual like floating island that you put in the middle of the board.
Oh, yeah,
And so
yeah.
you have 4 players around the edges and somebody up on the floating island, and it's just so much fun to play. And I've had a blast playing with people, and I'm sure I will play it at many other conventions here coming up, just because it's so much fun to play.
Roy, I think there's one way that you can like this game more, though. I see a very clear expansion that needs to happen. Heroes of Land, Air, Sea, and
Space. You
Boom.
go into
Boom.
space from there. Just put little astronaut helmets on all the little dudes.
You're right.
make it happen. Fly to outer space.
All right, Roy, I said to get 7 out of 10, and I got 7 out of 10. So feeling pretty
Wow.
good.
So you have to get my
Nice.
last one to be perfect?
Which ones did you
I'm
miss?
super nervous now because I have 9. We'll get to that when he's done. I have
Okay.
9 out of your. I got them all right so far.
You wrote
Wow.
down 10,
I did.
and you've got 9.
I did.
If you get my number 1, you're perfect.
Is this a new game to the list?
That's
To the list?
That's
No,
new
I don't
math.
think so.
Then I didn't
Okay.
get it.
What do you think it is?
It can't be this one because I would have picked this for like 10. You must have already said it previously and I missed it. Res Arcana?
I said
Yeah,
it
you said
already,
that.
yeah. it was
Then
like
I just
my
forgot. I told
something.
you I didn't look at previous lists. Well, 9 out of 10, I'll take it.
That's good.
That's garbage. You missed by 1.
Wait, let me. Oh, what would it be then? I'm trying to look at what the people's choices are.
Yeah, somebody I'm sure out there actually can guess
I'm sure,
this, right?
Yeah.
Well,
It's been on my list before. I don't know where,
It's not
but it's
one
been
of the
on my list
Anirums,
before.
right?
No,
You've
no,
already
no.
done all
No, it's already
those,
done.
and you can't be Imperial Settlers because that was already knocked off by Empires of the North. I thought you said. Mm-hmm. Unless it's the other one. Have you done that one yet?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, what's that one called? I can't remember. The stupid futuristic one.
51st
Oh,
51st State. That's your number one?
I never said that. Yes, my number one game is 51st State. Complete
wow.
master set. Boom! You gonna get shivs in the future.
More than Empires of the North, huh?
Yes, I like this more than Empires of the North. And again, I think it's because in this one you have that concept of the game developing a little more widely. My construction, my development, my city, that's what you're building, reconstructing, can go more different ways than if I'm playing like the little, drunk Vikings from Empires of the North. They kind of do one or two things. In this one, you don't have your own deck, for one thing. You have a main deck, like a central deck, and you'll draft and work from there. This is a game I've loved for a long time, I'll say that.
Sure.
In one version or another.
Yeah.
Right? When this game originally came out, whenever that was, the original 51st State, I already loved it. It was such a good game. It was a bit of a headache to teach and learn and internalize and sit down and play, but I loved it. And then they came out with another version of it, and that was even better. And then an expansion, which gave you more theme. And then this other thing that gave you interesting world building. This master set, after so many sort of trials and errors, I guess I'll call it, though I wouldn't say they're all errors, right, is easy to love for me, because I've already loved all this stuff for a long time. It's got a great setting that I really enjoy. It's, in many ways, a lot of the things I like in lots of games: collecting resources, building. At the end of the game, I look down.
City builder?
Huh?
City builder?
I don't know if I would call this a city builder. A city builder, to me, the thing I don't typically like is the adjacency issues. And there's a couple I like I said, but this one doesn't have any of that stuff. I don't mind.
Chat's giving me things to poke you with. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This went from 25 to 1.
All right, I'm good with that. There was also some fantastic expansions for this now.
Could it be that did Empires of the North make you appreciate this more, maybe?
Maybe, I guess. I always have a great time with it, and the new expansion really is fantastic. It's one of the best expansions I've ever seen for, like, just a deck of cards. And what it added, what it opened up, the way it managed to mix this all up was unbelievable.
I guess I need to try that. I haven't played the expansion.
So good.
Okay.
Yeah, I just love it. I love every aspect of this game. I really do enjoy.
Nice.
All right,
What
well,
are they giving you to poke me with?
well, no, there's that city building thing. We were like, you like the city building game?
Why did you wink at the camera?
Because they're my
in
friends.
a massively creepy way.
All right, People's Choice number 1, same as last year, same as the year before that. 19, Mike is truly the voice of the people. Side.
Oh, I think Wingspan's going to overtake this. I think Wingspan.
You think Wingspan's going to overtake Terraforming Mars, though?
Oh,
that's-
absolutely. Terraforming Mars 3, Scythe 2, Wingspan 1 next year.
You know,
Unless
I
some
can just
huge
write
game
whatever
comes
numbers I want.
out.
I'll be like, I don't know, that's not what I saw.
Unless some huge game comes out this year that just blows everything up,
Well, I heard they were adding mechs to Wingspan.
Right,
so
yeah. Mechanized birds.
I'd play that.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Bird combat.
The Mecha Bird expansion.
Here's the reason I'm not sure Wingspan will overtake it, because I think Wingspan's great and a lot of people like it. I'm not sure a lot of people pick Wingspan as number 1. While Terraforming Mars and Scythe, there are a lot of people's number
True.
1.
That is true. That's a good point. Yeah. The smart people like Scythe at number 1. That's true.
That's right. You're
All
right
y'all.
yourself. Okay, Mike. I just randomly. I went through the People's Choice top 1. I mean, I went through Board Game Geeks, so I picked Terraforming Mars, which I hadn't.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Power Grid. I picked. I can't pronounce this next one, but you know what I'm talking about.
Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan? Oh, it's probably in my top 100, 150 maybe.
Suburbia.
Oh, I actively dislike Suburbia.
He said it.
He said it.
Okay, Viticulture.
Viticulture was in my top 40.
Okay, well, you remember it. Glory to Rome.
No, Glory to Rome is Find the Broken Combo. It's okay.
Orleans.
Okay.
Tapestry.
Tapestry.
I would have smacked. I was getting more and more worried. I was like,
Yeah.
I expect the Tapestry to be in your list.
Not in
You've
my
been
top.
talking about it a
well,
bunch.
but it's too new. It's in my top. I mean,
So
it's not in my
what?
top 40.
Cult
Look,
of the Old.
it's in my top 100. It's definitely in my top 100.
All right. Looking for him.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very strong list.
Oh.
And yours
Thank
is
you.
for what you like, which I guess is very strong to what you like too.
Awesome.
You have
There's people out there that know.
no, I
There's
mean
people out there
like
that know.
your taste for what you like is extremely strong.
Yes.
That's cool. I like that because
Yeah.
you know what you like.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people drop out by the lots. Stick around, folks. Not stick around. Come back tomorrow. I mean, we're done now. Come back tomorrow for live crowd surfing, which we're doing, and then we're doing a live board game breakfast on Thursday. Then you won't see any live stuff from us for a while. We'll do maybe something live next week near the end. We got a live playthrough coming next Friday, not this coming one. And then after that, Ronnie Smith's coming in, and we're going to be doing a live top 10 with them. So more of this stuff will happen. You'll see more of Roy and Mike in the future. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for letting us break a record today. That was kind of cool.
Wow.
I think we hit
Thank you. You're amazing.
4,400 or something.
Nice job, people.
Thanks for sticking around. Oh, also, we crossed our goal. We're doing the 24-hour marathon.
Wow.
Time to sleep.
Next stretch goal, 360 vision for all of our
Yes,
videos.
360
Yes,
video.
every video in
Bulbous.
720 degrees.
Straight bulbous.
We do have that 360 camera. We haven't used it in a long time.
Bust
Telling
it
you,
out, I
Dice
think.
Tower in the round needs to happen.
All
The
right, folks.
round table.
Thanks so much for watching. Go check out our Kickstarter if you haven't yet. DicetowerKickstarter.com. Check out these games. In the comments afterwards, tell us your favorite games. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike Delisio.
I'm Roy Candy.
And I'm Z Garcia.
Have fun gaming.
Thank you.